Hello, everyone, and welcome to night 5 of the British Swimming Olympic Trials with myself, Scott, and Propulsion Swimming. We are really looking forward to watching along with all of you guys at home for what is going to be one of British Swimming's fastest ever nights in the pool.
Honestly, this is one of the most exciting times in British swimming right now. That 200 freestyle was absolutely sensational. It really has lived up to the hype, isn't it? And I tell you what, the hype is still up there because I think some of these boys will go faster. Can you believe?
Yeah, I mean, the times that they swam this morning actually blew my mind. We were chatting with several people on Twitter kind of last night. How fast is this going to go to make the final? Turns out it took a 47.9 to make the final, which is bonkers.
Well, I was saying to you that 148, I think is in. 149, you're on the fence, and then 150, you're definitely out. And we were way out.
Way out, I know.
149, I mean, the swimmers that missed out, Jacob Whittle, Kieran Bird, Mark Saranic, Jacob Goodman, all went 149. Not good enough. Absolutely unreal.
So that is to end tonight's session. And boy, am I glad they've put that right at the end of this meet because I cannot wait for it. We have some racing beforehand. We have some very important races. The women's 100 breaststroke is a particular highlight as well. That one is almost going to be as exciting as the 200 meter freestyle because of how competitive it is. And we also have the two 1500 meters. So what we are going to do for this live stream is we'll preview the 1500 meters kind of now before we get into the meat of it. And then while the 1500s are going on, we will open up the floor to questions to our audience, to viewers, any comments you guys have. And then we will preview the rest of the races of tonight during that time because we are going to have a little bit of time to fill.
Well, if you think that every 1500 is going to take 16, 17 minutes, that's it's over half an hour anyway. So we do have a lot of time. There's only so much we can analyze on people's strokes and stuff. So, throw your questions over. We're happy to ask. We might ask the viewers them as well. So
well, you have some questions for me. I have some questions for you. We are going to slowly kind of analyze the meet as a whole. What kind of situation British swimming's in because it's doing very well right now.
As of right now, it is.
Maybe towards the end of the live stream, we kind of review the meet as a whole, the standout swims, and what the squad to Tokyo might look like.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to do a podcast next week anyway, as soon as the squads come out. So we will do a full review then, but I think we'll do a rough draft of it on the live stream, almost like a sneak preview of next week's podcast, I would have thought.
Basically.
So we do have time to do it during the 1500s. We did have one 1500 this morning, though. It was only 3 swimmers in it. Jackson O'Rourke, I believe, did a PB, which is good. That's all you can ask for. But in the women's side, I think there was only 9 swimmers actually entered. So, 7.
Only 7. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 swimmers. So there's only
one finals are tonight.
Both swimmers are, that's right, back to back as well.
So let's kick off with the guys' side because Dan Jervis has been so close to multiple qualifying times throughout this meet. We've heard in several post-swim interviews with Jazz Carling, he's a bit unhappy. He feels like he's ready to burst. This could very much be that event for him.
This is his favourite event, I believe. He got a silver at Commonwealth Trials in 2018, so he's got the pedigree in the event, and I think he gets it. I think he's got a bit of not anger. I think anger's too strong, but yes, he has been disappointed with his swims, even though I think he's been pretty good, just outside the Olympic consideration time.
He's missed all of them by
less
than a second, I think, in most of them.
Milliseconds, yeah. So it's been really unfortunate on that sort of front of it. But his PB for this is 9 seconds underneath this Olympic consideration. So in theory, should be okay. It's just depending whether, because we've said about before with the distance events where they've struggled with the training because of COVID.
Yeah, I actually think it's going to be a really interesting topic to kind of review after this meet.
Yeah.
To see what the state of distance swimming is due to COVID. And especially actually maybe even looking at it when it gets to the Olympics, whether the big boys are hitting the times they should be hitting.
Well, we haven't seen anything from Katie Ledecky in terms of distance races. I know she's been doing well in the 200 and 100.
I think she's been doing decent 800s.
Has she? I haven't actually looked, to be honest with you. But it's weird how she's done really well in the sprint events. I suppose you can call them that for her. But yeah, I mean, if she's doing, which I expect her to do pretty well in every race,
Mhm.
to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan Jervis is basically a one-man event here. I mean,
Well, we
Toby
say
Robinson
one
has
man
that
event.
as
I
well.
was going to say Toby Robinson had caught my eye when I was looking through this start list. He's only 10 seconds off. A PB would get him that consideration time. Now, we say
Wow.
only, it's a big amount, but 1500, 10 seconds is less than a second improvement on every length. So there's
Every
an
100.
out.
Every
Yeah,
100.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's an outside chance, should he decide to, well, not decide to really go for it. Should he go for it and stick on Dan Jervis, he has a shot.
Yeah,
I think he might have a shot.
he's been swimming relatively well in the 400 and 800, and he's got every chance of doing it. It's an outside chance, but he's got every chance of doing it. Before the meet, we said 10 seconds is just monstrous. It's like impossible. But Kieran Bird has proven that you can do that over 800 meters. So
there's been so many personal bests that have come out of nowhere from swimmers who haven't had the most access to a swimming pool that we can't doubt anyone at this point.
No. I mean, on paper, it's all Dan Jervis here, but you might be right. Toby Robinson might come in and surprise us all. I kind of hope he does, actually. It'd be good if Dan Jervis is spurred on by someone who is keeping on his hip or on his ankles or something like that, you know?
Otherwise, it is going to be a mental battle for him. It's a race with him, with himself, isn't it?
Well, he's basically trusting his training. I'm sure he's done loads of, the classic set that I did with 3100s and holding a 1500 time. I'm sure he's done that a million times. So it wouldn't surprise me. He just basically, it's just muscle memory. He's got to relive everything he does in training and just put it into the water now.
Now, the British record in this has lasted since 2004, hasn't it? David Davis, wonderful distance freestyler. We put a poll out a few weeks ago on our Twitter. What's the hardest British record to break? Which one's going to take the longest?
Yes, yeah.
I couldn't believe this one didn't win because there's been no one near it at all. We say that Dan Jervis's PB is fairly close.
Yeah,
but it's lasted forever.
Yeah, it's weird because it's very similar to the women's side where we just haven't really found a replacement for David Davis or Becky Adlington, Jazz Carling. We haven't got one, but Dan Jervis is extremely close and potentially hitting a PB. He could break that British record, and no one's really talked about that.
Do we think British distance freestyle, especially on the guy side, has suffered since your old coach retired?
Oh, it's difficult to say.
Because he was the leading light, wasn't he?
Well, he was the one that coached David Davis, and I know David Davis was at Cardiff, and then he changed to Loughborough, and it didn't work out for him at Loughborough. He came back to Cardiff and then managed to win bronze at, was it Athens? I think it was. Was it Athens? Yeah, I believe it's Athens.
That's Athens, yeah.
Yeah, and then he went to Beijing, tried the 10K open water, and won silver there as well. So, obviously the engine he's got is very good, and Dave Hallen knew exactly what he was doing at Cardiff. Yeah. So possibly...
Because just distance swimming doesn't quite seem to be clicking right now in GB. There is one name who isn't on this start list, who isn't here, who I would love to see how he goes in the swimming pool, given what he's doing open water, and that would be Hector Pardo. I'd love to see what he could do in a 1500.
Well, I remember him because he's actually, I think he began as a flyer. He was a 200-meter flyer, and he can still knock out sub 2 minutes for a 200 fly, which would have... I don't know. That would have been a third.
3, I think.
Yeah, third at this championships. So I'm sure he could probably smash out a decent 1500, no doubt.
And he does all of his training for open water in a pool.
He does. Some of the sessions he does is absolutely outrageous. We need to speak to him again, actually, to be fair, because he hasn't put up some of the sets yet because they're ugly sets. I'd never be able to do them. But
I think he's
the best.
I think he's in full concentration mode right now for open water trials, so we'll leave it be on that. But I'd love to get his thoughts on, come Paris, whether he thinks it's more sustainable for his career to go back to the pool. Who knows?
Depends what his motivation is, I suppose. But he's doing very well in the open water phase, so why would you change right now? So yeah.
Okay, Dan, let's go through the start list of this 1500. We will run through it a little bit, and then we will put some questions to everyone who's on the live stream for us, and I've got a few questions for you.
All right, let's go. Well, in lane 1 you got Thomas Davison. Lane 2 is Alex Hindle. Remember, Alex Hindle had a 12-second PB in 800, so in theory should be going 24 seconds quicker here. Who knows? Lane 3 is Luke Turley. Dan Jervis takes up lane 4, Toby Robinson in 5, lane 6 is William Bell, Joshua Williams in 7, and then you've got Joseph Kinsland in lane 8.
So do we know what sort of pace Dan Jervis is going to have to hold to get this consideration time, to keep track of it for everyone at home?
It's 59s. He's got to hold basically low 59s. But of course, this first 100 is going to go out in like a 56, I would have thought, probably even quicker than that. So yeah, roughly he's going to have to hold about 59s. But the difference is, especially on the distance swims, the milliseconds make all the difference. So you could hit 59 every single time, but if you hit 59.8 and 59.7, 59, those milliseconds add up all the time. So ideally, 59.5 or less is what he's really aiming for. But he's out. Oh, he's actually out quicker. Oh no, 56. Yeah. So from here, he should be holding ideally 59 for the rest of the way.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll check back in with it every now and again. Dan will keep an eye on the pace clock. You have a pretty good understanding of timings for distance freestyle.
Well, I can do the splits. It's just counting.
Well, there we go then.
I've got no idea counting lengths, but splits.
Well, there's massive signs at the end of the pool for you.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, forgot about them. Yeah.
So we'll check back in with this. I've got a few questions for you to kick things off because it has been a really, really good meet for British swimming. Yeah. And I know what I said to you for a bit of preparation before tonight's live stream was, why don't you give everyone at home your top 5 races of the meet so far, and we will disagree on them.
I tell you what, you asked me the question that you've just asked, and I've asked you a question beforehand. And you asked me for the top 5. I've written down 10, and I've had to basically cut half of them out. Now the 5 that I've cut out deserve to be in the top 10. But
okay, honorable mentions.
Okay, well, in no specific order because I haven't ordered these. So we've got Jimmy Guy and Jacob Peters in the 100 fly, both going Olympic considerations. Massive PB for Jacob Peters. I find it's weird. It's weird how that's not in the top 5 or one of the best races. So I'm sorry to those two, but that's the way it is. You got Abby Wood and Alicia Wilson in 200 IM again, both doing Olympic considerations.
I mean, they've just gone. I think they've just gone 2 and 5 in the world.
I know,
and that's not in your top. Oh, okay.
Well, that would be like 6 or something. Like I said, it's not in any particular order. You're not going to like me for this, but Ben Proud doesn't make the top 5 for his 50. I know you'll disagree with that. And then the other honourable mention was Kathleen Dawson and Cassie Wilde in the 100 backstroke.
Whoa!
That was so difficult to take out. I know, so difficult. Now, mind you, we obviously we haven't had the races from tonight, so races could be added. This is without them. So in 5th, I've got the men's 100 free. So Duncan Scott equaling the British record, Jacob Whittle doing ridiculous swim for his age, and then of course Matt Richards qualifying for essentially for Tokyo as well. That's actually 5th.
That should be higher. Let's hear what's above.
4th, 200 breaststroke for the women, Molly and Abby, both basically going under the British record. Huh?
Number 1? Really?
Yeah,
what is your number 1 at this point?
So you think that should be number 1? Anyway. So they both went under the British record, both Olympic considerations.
2 and 3 in the world.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I say lane 3. 3rd was the 200 IM for Duncan Scott, British record.
Okay.
Are you happy with 3rd there?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I feel like the 100 free should have gone above that, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. This is more of a personal one for me, I suppose. Women's 100 fly for Harriet Jones, because that was a sensational swim.
Well, you were stunned to silence, so yeah, I'll give you that.
57, that was a monster swim. And then, has to be, I said from the first day it was going to be, Kieran Bird for his 400 free. That's number 1.
Yeah, okay. I'd push the women's 200 breaststroke up to 2nd. I really would.
Yeah.
Because of where they are in the world. And then I'd put the 100 freestyle 3rd.
Okay, so of those top 5 that I've mentioned, which one would you take out for Ben Proud's 50?
The 100 fly.
Okay, yeah. I suppose that was more of a personal one for me because I just didn't expect it. Yeah, I didn't expect it, but that was a monster swim. But
so if anyone listening or watching wants to give us their top 5, we can debate those. We can pull them onto the screen. Everyone tell Dan how wrong he is and choose my choice. We'd love that.
That's a horrible question you asked me, but you didn't want me. You didn't want to do the same thing. You wanted to put me on the spot, so that's fine.
I did, of course, that's fine. Of course. But all in all, there has been some amazing racing. I think it's been a show of force from British swimming. we're here.
Oh, it really has. The performance has been so good. I didn't expect it because
No.
Charles, mid-April, we've got 3 months out. I would have thought, especially I didn't even mention PT. I didn't even mention the breaststroke. PT's 100 breaststroke. I mean, he went 57.7.
Was it the
Did he
ninth
go?
fastest
Which
time
is
in
the
the
ninth
world or
fastest.
something like that?
I should be putting him in there number 1 or number 2 every single time, really, because we kind of take it for granted. But I mean, honourable mention as well. Actually, just comes to my head was Amy Wilmot in her 400 IM. That came
That
from
was a
nowhere.
shocker. Yeah.
I really didn't think she was going to make it, and she did a perfect swim, really, in theory. But
Okay. There's so much. When we do our review podcast, it's going to be so hard. We'll get into it. You can see kind of the background arguments that we have before we put out a podcast. Which one's actually going to go where? That's why we haven't done videos like Phelps's top 10 yet. We can't agree on those.
Yeah. So very quickly, going back to the actual swimming that's going on, Dan Jervis turning in a 5:55 after the 600 mark. So he is on roughly, maybe slightly off, but he should bring it back. He should bring it back quite quickly, especially for the last 200, which seems to be a tactic of his for this meet. So don't write it off just yet. I think Toby Robinson is doing a pretty good job as well. I wouldn't say on his ankles as such. He's about 3 meters behind, but actually that's pretty much right for him. So yeah, it's looking good. Looking good from Dan Jervis here. Do you want me to ask your question? The question I had for you.
Go for it. And then during the women's 1500, we can start previewing the rest of this evening.
Mine was a little bit nicer, and we've kind of half discussed it anyway. Tokyo predictions since watching British trials.
Okay, I'm going to lose track of all of it. So I'll pull up our review spreadsheet. So women's 200 free. Do I think Freya gets a medal? Probably not. I think there's a lot of depth, and her times aren't quite there right now. Well, there's a lot more to come.
I actually thought that sort of swim from Freya is actually the way I thought she should be right now. And then the next race was Kieran Bird's 400 free, which blew everything out of proportion in my head. So, but yeah, I still think Freya's got a chance of a podium. I just don't know as of right now because I don't know.
Siobhan Horhy
she's pretty good, isn't she?
Yeah,
and of course, Ledecky went 54.0.
And then I think it's Irene Titmus over in Australia set up 55.1 or something crazy. So I think it's a tough ask. She's got to be really on form.
She does, yeah.
Men's 400, no, probably not. 400 IM, no. Men's 100 breaststroke, gold, and do I say silver?
Well,
gold and medal.
I think James will be definitely medals. Absolutely medals. Difficult. It's good that we get a first and silver. If we can mimic what we did in the World Champs, then that'd be great.
I think there's a lot more depth to the 100 breaststroke than we kind of give credit for because we just see PT's crazy times. But all around the kind of low 58s, there's a lot of swimmers there or thereabouts.
Next question then, that's sort of like a sub question. Does PT break the world record? And does James Wilby join him by being the second man under 58?
I think PT breaks the world record in the semi-final, like he did at... Did he do that at World Champs? He didn't break it in the final, did he? Yeah. He breaks it in the semi-final, a show of force, and then... No, I don't think PT... I don't think he comes second. I think there's so many other names. There's Shamanovic. I think there's someone from the Netherlands. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
For the life of me. There's Saki... There's so many names, but do any of them go under 58? Yeah, they probably do at this point.
Do you reckon?
I think they do.
You think PT is basically dragging them? They have to go faster.
You saw at ISL that a lot of their techniques are changing.
Yeah,
there we go. It's in the chat. Kaminga. I think he might be the next guy under. I really do.
Yeah.
Then elsewhere, 200 IM. Duncan Scott's a medal shot there. I'll give you that one. 800s, we didn't get anyone through. 200 butterfly, I think that's a bit too much of an ask for Jimmy Guy to get a medal. There's some big names there.
Well, gold
is out of the question.
Yeah.
Podium third maybe. 100 back, Kathleen Dawson's definitely a medal threat. But that's going to be a very, very fast race. Men's 100 back, no. Women's 200 breast. Stroke, most definitely. That could see 2 girls on the podium.
Quite
400
possibly.
IM. I
Do we
think Max has
see?
an outside shot at 400 IM
Do you reckon? Yeah, because I
to
think
get onto the podium. If he gets back up to his PB, he's there or thereabouts.
it all depends if Sato actually swims it or not. Because we're hearing
I
things
don't
that he
think he
might
isn't.
not
He
actually
isn't.
be doing it,
No, he's already confirmed he's not doing it.
which makes Hagino favorite. I would have thought.
Yeah.
Loxley won't be doing it. I think Laszlo Che won't be doing it either because he's more 200 fly. So it does open the door a little bit. Maybe unless
Yeah,
there's
I think there's an open door there.
unless there's a new guy who's coming through, we haven't heard of just yet in America. But potentially, yeah, I think he's going to have to go. He's going to have to go a PB. What's his PB right now? 4.9. He's going to have to go a little bit quicker than that to get on the podium, but he's got every chance of doing it. Quick question again: does Molly Renshaw get close to the world record? She only got to knock off another second now.
Well, she's not the fastest in the world right now, is she?
Not right now.
She's second.
But she's been.
I don't think that world record goes. That's punchy.
It's a quick one. It's a very quick record.
Yeah, it's a very quick one. To go an extra second after a second and a half improvement from the other day, I think that's slightly too far.
Yeah.
Then moving through the rest of the meet, women's 200 fly, probably not. Men's 100 free. Ooh.
On his day.
It depends on his schedule and what happens around the world with 100 free. But yes, he's in the conversation.
It was interesting that he wasn't happy with. Well, he basically equaled his PB. He wasn't happy with it like at all. Which makes me think his 200 later on is just going to be electric.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. Men's 200 breaststroke. I think they both make the final. I'm not sure they threaten the podium given the times around the world right now, which is sad to say. I thought I would have higher hopes, but I don't think James and Ross swam quite as fast as I expected this meet.
It's difficult. I think Ross should be definitely targeting the 200, and he will be now that he's only qualified in the 200, whereas I think James will be more focused on the 100.
Yeah, so do I.
It might be one of those. I don't want to say lucky because it'll be hard. It'll be well deserved if he actually gets a bronze or silver or something like that. But it'll be one of those touch and grab sort of ones where it'll be mini seconds in it. We'll see.
Yeah. So we'll go back to swimming quickly. Dan Jervis, after this turn, has 200 meters left. Dan, is he on pace or is he slightly off?
Well, if we're going off his tactics for the 800, he should now be really kicking it in. So what did he just do there?
12:53.
He's lapping people, which is confusing.
Yeah,
12:53. What was the time again? So he's got to go 46, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to have to go some. He's going to have to go 57s, which is tough, especially if you've been holding. He's been holding high 59s really, so it's those mini seconds that are making a difference again. You see, he's got a chance again. He's putting it in. You can clearly see he's putting it in. The stroke rates and tempo has gone up. He's gone to his legs, definitely catching much more water. You can see he's actually really propelling himself through the water. Difficult. Unfortunately, I think Toby Robinson has the outside chance what he gave him. He's just gone off, which is unfortunate. But yeah, look at the leg kick. He's given it all. Really giving it his all. Let's see what he's got to go for this last 100.
Okay, we'll get the time and then I'll quickly finish my predictions. So he's gone at 53. He's got to go. What's he got to go here?
I don't think he's outside it. I think he's going to be like 2 seconds out.
I think he gets under.
What's the maths? I can't work out the maths.
He's got to go a 102, hasn't he? I think he might do it. I think he might. We'll see. We've lost track slightly.
I've lost track. My brain's forgotten.
He's got to come back in a 33. He's fine.
33. Oh, he should do it. Yeah. In fact, actually, wait a second. Hang on. British records on the cards then. If that's the case, because he's not going to come back 33. He's going to come back in a 29.
That's what he's got to go. A 14:55.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. No, I'm losing track completely. Yeah, sorry. Not British record. Yeah, he's going to be underneath the consideration, definitely. Yeah.
And he's got there.
Richly deserves, actually. Richly deserves, because he's been so unfortunate on the other races.
Oh, he's happy.
Actually, Toby Robinson coming back like a steam train. 15:01. Oh. PB for him. 4-second PB. But it's always nice. It's a shame you didn't get under that 15-minute mark, because that is a massive barrier.
There you go. Massive PB for Luke Turley as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy for him,
be a
actually.
brilliant race.
Yeah, really happy for him. I wonder if he's...
Hopefully that means now he might get selected for the 8 and the 4 as well.
Yeah, potentially.
Because he's secured his consideration spot.
Yeah, because he'll be the only 1500 swimmer that we take on the men's side. Well, maybe on both sides, actually. But yeah, really good for him, actually. Really, he deserves that a lot. So
he does. He does. Right. So if I finish off with my predictions, women's 100 free, no, probably not a medal. Men's 50 free, there's a medal there. I stick my neck out on that one. Women's 200 breaststroke, probably 200 backstroke. Sorry, Kathleen Dawson, probably not, because the times for that are ridiculous. Men's 100 fly, I think Jimmy Guy's got a lot more in their tank, so potentially a medal there.
Yeah, well.
And women's 200 IM, I think Abby Wood gets a medal as well. So were you counting down? Probably not. 1, 2.
Must be double figures, though.
3.
Must be double figures by the numbers you were saying. And we haven't even spoke about the races that are on tonight as well.
5, 6, 7. Well, if you talk about something, I'll keep going.
Okay, hang on. If you talk about something. Right, all the swimmers are in. Let me check if there's some PBs going on around here. So
okay, I think I'm up to 10, looking at it.
Okay, double figures,
10 medals.
10 without these races as well.
Without today.
Yeah, and I think there's I'm going to go for a certain 200 free from Duncan Scott. I'd love to say it's a gold
medal or gold. Oh, just certain medal. Okay.
It's a definite medal from him, but I think he could push for a gold. But we'll get to that. That's later on. We're so excited for that last race. That's terrible. Did we get any more PBs? I know Luke Turley did a PB. Alex Hindle, how much quicker did he go? 16:01 was his PB. 5 seconds for him. Thomas Davison 16:03. Another PB from him as well. It's quite. I wouldn't say it's easy to PB on a 1500, but it's more likely that you PB on a 1500.
Yeah.
An extra 1 dolphin kick off every turn is an extra 0.2 or whatever. So there's plenty of turns on a 1500.
It's a very tough event to be putting at the end of a schedule, isn't it?
Well, where would you want to put it? Would you put it at the front? So you're knackered for the rest of it?
Well, they had the 800 at the front, didn't they?
Yeah, you can't have an 800 and a 1500 the next day. So they have to be as far separate as they can be, I suppose.
There's 400 on the first day, 400.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just weird scheduling. It was odd having one heat this morning and then...
I was thinking about it actually since then. I was like, there's no best way of doing it, unfortunately. But yeah.
We'll go into it. So the women's side... Again, we've said it before, the Katie Ledecky effect. This time it's not actually bonkers when you look at her world record. Her world record is 15:20, but that's bonkers.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
The consideration time is a 16:04, of which these girls are 30 seconds plus.
Yeah. Let's not think that these girls are going to get the consideration, because unfortunately I don't think they will.
Am I right in looking at this start list that on PBs rather than entry times, the fastest swimmer entry is Ironwoman Lucy Charles-Barclay? Am I correct in thinking that?
From our records, yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is insane, really.
So she's not actually a swimmer. She is professional triathlon or ultra triathlon.
Yeah, basically that's what it is.
She's one of the fastest ever GB Ironwomen.
Yeah.
The fact that she's entered British trials, she's been locked away in a hotel for 6-7 days, which I would have thought that's massive detriment to her training for Ironwoman. Fair play to her to sticking with it and actually entering this event.
Well, I know she's got a challenge, doesn't she? I think it's the first woman to break 8 hours or whatever you said.
She's trying to,
which is absolutely insane. I think we had a friend, his dad did the Ironman, didn't he, in Lanzarote? I think he did it in 12 hours. So to do it in 8 hours is just I've got no words.
She's a bit good.
A bit good, yeah.
But so there are girls in here who are ending a very, very busy meet for them, aren't they? Because Leah Crisp swam almost every freestyle event.
Yeah.
Then you got Emily Clark, who did the same.
Lauren Wetherall's done a lot of racing as well. I mean, they're doing very well to PB or getting anywhere near their PBs because they should be really fatigued. And we've talked about it before that they're in effect they're trapped in their hotel room for the
Getting a
best
bit
part
bored
of a
now.
week, so they must be getting bored.
They can't even go out for a walk. That's been the big difference from the ISL bubble, which was so successful and lasted for 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Well, mind you, they had the whole island, so
Yeah,
they could
but
go.
that's what I'm saying. That's the big difference. At ISL, they had this literally, it was like a segregated community kind of in the island of Budapest.
Yes, yeah. We don't really. Well, we do have islands, obviously, in this country, but not next to London, anyway.
It's a shame they couldn't cordon off part of the Olympic Park and keep it just for the swimmers to ride a bike around or take a walk around. But maybe there's lessons to be learned. Because the Olympic Park's massive.
It is, but then it's all money and hire, and they don't want to spend money because there's no money going around, of course, at the moment. So
Okay.
difficult one. But of course, I don't know the finances. I don't know, but I just imagine they don't want to spend any unnecessary money. So
what we're all going to have to do is wait until the swimsuit guy puts up his vlog of him inside the bubble for British champs, and then we will all understand just how hard it is.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine what they must have done. They must have been so bored. Like we were saying yesterday, that they watch the live. The ones who don't swim, they watch the live stream and they just comment and they're just sort of
they do seem
on. Yeah, they're just bored. But of course, what would you do? You're just twiddling thumbs. I mean, some of them might have brought like a PlayStation, Xbox, whatever they do.
I think even then, that'd just mentally drain you after a while.
Well, yeah, there's only that takes a lot of concentration playing whatever games you play.
Yeah,
I assume. But
we have a comment in the live chat. Are we planning on doing live reactions for the European champs in May? As long as it works with both our work schedules, we both have full-time jobs. We will definitely be doing that. Hopefully, the kind of the program works out that the finals are this sort of time of day, because that works great for us.
Well, it should be a little bit later in theory because it's in Budapest, which is an hour later was it earlier? Sorry. Earlier. Oh wait. Yes, earlier. You're right. It's the other way. So, yeah, it would be.
How much of the world have we travelled together, and you don't know time zones?
Lots. I was going the wrong way, but yeah. I mean, if it fits our schedules, like Scott was saying, we'd love to be able to do it. Yeah, I think it would be a really good idea. I think it's starts the first week of May, and it might even be May bank holiday. Yeah, would I be right in saying that? So we'll see. Yeah, ideally that would be pretty good because
So kind of the future of Propulsion Swimming channel, as long as there's British swimming interest and people want us to do it, we will do a watch along with the event. I think that's what we plan to do in the future because we enjoy doing this.
Yeah, I mean we'd be watching the swimming anyway. So
exactly. So we may as well chat along with other people about it.
Everything that we're saying is what I'd be saying anyway. And
I just get spammed with texts.
So we might as well just build a little community and everyone have their say as well. So yeah, that's the way that we're working it. So 7 swimmers for this race then. Scott, if you want to go through them.
Okay, so in lane 1 we have Livia Kingsland. I believe her brother just raced in the event before.
He did.
In lane 2, Lucy Charles-Barclay. In lane 3, Lauren Wetherall. In lane 4, Leah Crisp. In lane 5, Emily Clark. In lane 6, Amy Hood. And in lane 7, Kaylin Hall.
Yeah.
I think Lucy Charles-Barclay pulls off an absolute stormer and wins this. I really do.
Well, she's gone out pretty tough. Pretty fast. Yeah, she's gone out and she's taken Amy Hood with her, even though they're on opposite sides of the pool. But I imagine she must be so fit because, of course, it's not just swimming for her; it's cycling and running. So fitness is not going to be an issue.
I wish we saw more kind of cross-disciplinary entries into swimming events like this. So say you get the Brownlee brothers doing a 5K open water against the open water guys, or you get them doing a 1500. I'd love to see that. It would give more exposure for both sports. If the Brownlee brothers did British trials, everyone from triathlon would tune in and get more exposure to British swimming.
I was going to say, it's all exposure, isn't it? It is all exposure.
We swam back when we were juniors with modern pentathlon world champion now Jamie Cook. He swam with us over in Gloucester, and his 200 freestyle, he's got the world record in modern pentathlon. Yeah, if he decided to concentrate on swimming a bit more, he could be here. So it would be really good to see people like that racing. It
was quite good for me because, of course, he was in modern pentathlon. You do the 200 free, and his PB long course was a 149, which that's right up there with some of these guys. It's not a final, but it's right up there with some of those guys. But he concentrates on, I can't remember what's in
It's
modern pentathlon on. Fencing, horse riding,
equestrian,
shooting is in there.
shooting and running. Yeah,
There must be some
but
sort of running.
it's really good to see other disciplines giving it a go. And actually, she's the best in this field.
Well, yeah, after 200 meters,
so
she's
far.
a good body length ahead. But
I know she's been training at the London Aquatics Centre. That's been her bubble, and I think British Triathlon claimed London as their kind of hub during coronavirus.
oh, did they? Oh, did
Yeah.
they? Okay, yeah, interesting. But she's looking pretty good, actually. I mean,
She
she's
is.
going to hold that pace throughout. She's barely using her legs, which is, I suppose, that's the norm in the
Style, isn't it?
1500. So,
Well, you haven't swum with a wetsuit yet, but I've been doing open water with my wetsuit on recently, and you don't have to move your legs at all. You just got this little bubble on your back, and you just float.
yeah, they're supposed to be quite buoyant as well. They keep you warm and they keep you buoyant. So yeah, perfect. As long as it doesn't because I do a lot of shoulder movement in front crawl, of course. So as long as it doesn't restrict movement,
Obviously.
then it should be all right. So.
Okay, so we've got a bit of time now. So why don't we preview the rest of the races this evening? Because there's a huge one that we need to talk about loads. So we kick things off after
two big ones.
After this 1500, we have the women's 100 meters breaststroke. Now this one's wide open. This one could be one from lanes 1 or 8 as well, because Imogen Clark almost missed the final this morning. She was very close.
Well, I was watching it, and I think she was in the first heat. Was she in the first heat?
Second heat, and it was a very slow heat compared to the first one.
Yeah, so that didn't help her, of course. But of course, she's one of those swimmers that hasn't raced at all this meet, so she's been stuck in a hotel for 4 or 5 days.
A lot of these have, haven't they?
However, the same goes for Sarah Vasey, who decided to just take it out. And I've kind of put that down to maybe some frustration, just to like blow out some cobwebs. Or she just definitely wanted the middle lane, which I think that's more.
I think we saw at Manchester, she doesn't take a race easy. She goes for it on absolutely everything. When she was doing the 200 breaststroke, she swam all of them as 100 breaststroke time trials. So she absolutely goes for it. And I think she's going to win this. I really do. I think over Molly Renshaw, because Molly Renshaw's stroke this morning, her time was good. It's a definite 200 breaststroke stroke.
Oh, definitely.
She hasn't quite got the stroke rate.
I think Molly was taking it so easy. It looked the easiest 107 I've ever seen in my life. One swimmer who did surprise me, weirdly, was Abby Wood. I didn't think she could knock out a 68. I know she's a
2-second PB.
Yeah, I know she's very good at 200 breaststroke, as we've seen a couple of days ago. But I didn't think she could do. She is more of a distance swimmer. When I say distance, more 200 based. I didn't realize
the fast twitch.
Yeah, I didn't think she could do it, but she's done a PB, made the final, which I didn't think she'd make the final, and it's not just made the final; she's like 4th fastest going in.
Yeah, she is
fantastic.
I think right now it's Sarah Vasey's to lose, and she goes under the consideration time. I think Imogen Clark is an outside burner threat.
That's exactly what I'm going to say. Yeah, no one's going to see her down in lane 1, so she could be ploughing away at the top of the pool. And no one's going to see her, and she could just be potentially just winning it all by herself at the top. But I think you're right. Sarah Vasey, she hasn't raced. She's completely fresh. I mean, it depends how fresh, because she might be mentally fatigued from the hotel, but physically definitely fresh. She will be the one to beat, and I think it's a straight shootout between those two in the middle lanes. I would have thought, her and Molly.
Okay. And maybe an outside burner. We will see. And then we have the men's 200 meters backstroke, where Luke Greenbank is obviously pre-selected, being British record holder and winning a medal at the last World Champs in this event. He has a badly sprained ankle, but this morning he was impressive. I didn't expect a 156.
No, I didn't either, actually. I expected him to do something what Brodie Williams did and just cruise for 2 minutes and just make the final.
Brodie Williams pushed his luck.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's what I thought Luke Greenbank would do. But he was
in a much faster second heat. Elliot Clogg really kept.
Yeah.
Was Elliot Clogg in Brodie Williams' heat?
I can't remember.
I think he was.
You're testing my memory, which is always poor.
Elliot Clogg actually looked impressive, as he did in the 100-meter heats.
He did. There were PBs also from Jonathan Adam, Cam Brooker, and Charlie Brown. All 3 of them in lanes 1 to 3. So expect them to do probably around about the same sort of time. I'd like to see them go under that 2-minute mark, especially Cameron Brooker, who was 0.2 away. Difficult one. I think it's going to be very similar to the women's breaststroke, where we might see an outside burner, especially in Brodie Williams, who's in lane 7.
Yeah, I mean, in our preview podcast, I tipped Brodie Williams straight away to be
So did I. Yeah.
I thought he'd go the 155 mark, and given his 200 IM, I think that's still on.
So yeah, I agree. I think he goes Olympic consideration along with Luke Greenbank as well. I think they both go under.
But at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world if Luke doesn't go under.
No, well, he's got
his ankle is black and blue.
Yeah, he's got a very valid excuse, of course.
Yeah.
So we can give him a little bit of leeway, but I think, yeah, I mean, he's gonna go under that consideration, definitely. Low 56, I think I'd be pretty happy with. That's weird to say, seeing as though he broke the British record last month and his foot is twice the size of what it should be. He shouldn't really be racing, but
no. So if we go back to the 1500 quickly, it does look like Lucy Charles-Barclay has paid the price for taking it out quite so hard. She's come back to the back of the field, not to the back of the field. She's come back to the field, and she's already starting to look a little bit ragged. I would say maybe that first 400 is an indicator of what she has to do when she's swimming triathlon and Ironman or Ironwoman, which is take it out hard so you're in clear water and not in the middle of an open water pack. I think that's all that was.
Yeah, I mean, we're not experts in the whole open water triathlon field, but I would expect. I mean, I've done open water before, and you all line up side by side, and you've got to charge to the front, so you do have to put in a bit of a spurt at the start, otherwise you get clawed and smacked in the face and stuff like that. So I imagine that's just muscle memory for you.
Happened?
Having to take it out quickly, and of course, we don't really know enough whether she's got a good back end, but I know Leah Crisp is going to have a good back end, who is now. Well, she's in front.
Turning first. She's going to start pulling away, I would have thought. And it's good that Emily Clark is sticking with her.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so on the racing, after the men's 200 meters backstroke, later on we have the women's 50 meters freestyle. This is one woman against the clock, quite in fairness. And I said about Ben Proud, it wouldn't be the end of the world if she doesn't get the Olympic consideration. She's already on the team as the 100 freestyler. I'd expect her just to get faster as her taper gets longer. So Anna Hopkin, she's got to go down 0.2 from this morning's time. Her start this morning in the 50 freestyle was almost faultless. I thought she was incredible. And you see her stood on the block. She's so I can't say the word. She's so much smaller than everyone else. It's almost a shock that she's this good at freestyle sprinting.
I said, when was it? It must have been for the 100 free. Her underwater work is actually seriously underrated. It's extremely quick, and the first breakout stroke, if you watch later on, her first breakout stroke is so powerful, and she's almost up to speed on that first stroke alone, whereas it usually takes you like 15, 20 meters or so.
Do you know why she's so good? She's gone through the American college system. She's back training with Mel Marshall now, but she's done the whole NCAA. She's spent 3-4 years out in American college, and that's what happens. I'm amazed there's not more swimmers that do it. There was, for a while, there was a craze of them all doing it, wasn't there? There was Gemma Spopov. There was Moko Lokren. There was a fair few of them out there. But
I know. I know Zav gave it a go as well out there.
Yeah,
Cardiff Summer. They do it proper. They do it. They know how to do it out there. We've always said, it's almost been our sort of slogan actually, that we should be racing more. Ever since we watched that ISL, it kind of cemented our thought process that the more you race, it's all like race experience, race tactics, and people get better off it. Actually, going back to swimming, it looks like Lucy is now catching back up. She's now got into a proper good
second wind. Yeah,
second wind, if you like. Yeah.
And then we finished the night
with,
in my mind, what is undoubtedly the biggest domestic race we are ever or have ever seen. Not we are ever going to see, but we have ever seen in British swimming. Because this 200 meters freestyle from lanes 1 to 8 are all likely to push the consideration climb close, if not go under it. I was saying to you on the phone call after this morning's heats, I think every single one of these lads might actually get picked to go to Tokyo.
Yeah, you did say that actually. And I can't disagree with you. I mean, just to put it into perspective, every single one of these swimmers has gone under 148 to make this final, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Whether they go closest consideration time, which is basically you just got to go under 147, 5 of them have already done it. Joe Litchfield basically is the closest one. I know Cameron Kerr is also the closest one, but they did both do big PBs to make this final.
Yeah,
they've done a lot of racing, so it's difficult to say. I mean, it's going to be an awesome race.
So my thinking in terms of the 4x200 relay, this is what this is obviously huge for, as well as the individual, which Duncan Scott is within with a huge shout.
Yep.
if you go under the Olympic consideration time, you'll go into Tokyo for this because the likes of Jimmy Guy, Duncan Scott, maybe even Joe Litchfield are racing multiple events. They might need to be rested in the heats. And given that all of these guys are going to be going under 147, if that's the criteria I'm giving it, then they will more than be able to qualify for the final of the Olympics, resting the likes of Duncan Scott.
It all depends on the schedule. It really does.
So there is the possibility that all 8 of these guys can go, because even if Joe Litchfield misses the consideration time, he's on the plane for the 200 IM. Why not give him the heat swim and rest Duncan?
Yep.
It's so crazy to think that there is this depth in British swimming.
This is the sort of depth that we've been sort of craving for so long in the relays, because obviously the Americans and the Australians have been by far the best on relays. I suppose they've got more, well, not Australia actually, but it's more sport orientated in those sort of countries. And they seem to just produce the masses of performance swimmers. And now it seems like we're on that track as well. And honestly, I think we are now favourites for that gold. Must be for that 4x2. I know Russia will give us a run. I'm sure Australia will find some freestylers from somewhere. They normally do, and of course America.
No, not for the two. Not for the two.
Well, I don't know.
Their 200 trial was won by Kyle Chalmers, which surprised me slightly. And he went a 147.1, which would place you 6th in this final, 7th.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's insane, isn't it? It is insane. I mean, I can't wait for it. I mean, I want to try and be as
impartial.
I don't want to be speechless. I want to hype it up so much, you know. But there might be times I'm like, oh my god, what have I just seen? Because I'm
crazy.
I'm bigging up Duncan Scott so much because I think he goes high 44, low 45. I really do, which would be close to British record. And
so you said before.
If he does that sort of time, I think he's favourite to win the 200 at Tokyo. Surely, must be.
Yeah, so you're thinking the British record might be under threat tonight.
Yeah, just because there's so much hype behind this race. These guys are going to be so psyched up. It's going to be unreal. You know, the whole classic banging on chest and red marks. I suspect there'll be quite a few of that. They're going to be so ramped up.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. We're going to be talking about this. We might even talk through a 50 freestyle, which is almost blasphemous in my opinion. But there's so much to talk about. So much.
I mean, we could talk about tactics all day long. I mean, Joe Litchfield's turns. I know we put it on Twitter earlier.
Every time.
Talk about it all the time. But it was those turns were insane. He made Tom Dean look average at turns.
Yeah.
It was
Do you know
unreal.
what I'm most excited about this 200 freestyle?
Go on then.
The oldest person in this field is Jimmy Guy at 27.
And he's got
Tom Dean. Joe Litchfield is, I believe, 20. Tom Dean, 23. Matt Richards, 18. This team is not just here for Tokyo. This is winning Paris as well on this kind of projection course.
Is Jimmy Guy the oldest or is Callum Jarvis? I don't know if Callum Jarvis
is... Oh, Callum Jarvis is. My mistake.
Yeah.
Callum Jarvis is, I think, 30.
I find it incredible that Max Litchfield can knock out that time, whereas when he trains for the 400 IM.
400 IM.
Just sensational. And I assume Jimmy Guy just trains for the 100 fly, and yet he can smash out 200 free and 200 fly. If you think about it, these boys, this is not their favourite event, apart from maybe Tom Dean and Duncan Scott. All the others, this is not their favourite, their number one event. And yet they can smash out these times. Would you agree? The Litchfield brothers can do IMs. Jimmy Guy is a 100 flyer, I would probably say.
Oh, I would have thought Jimmy's close to this.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he would be targeting the 100 fly more so than anything else. But I don't know. Tom Dean, I think this is his favourite event. Duncan Scott, it's difficult to say. It's either that or 200 IM. Matt Richards, I would say, is more suited to the 100. I think that would be his favourite event. But
I don't know. At 18, when you're going to 146.7, I 140. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. We need to go back to the.
We do, because this is actually a really good last 50 meters. I thought Lucy Charles-Barclay had this on the last turn.
Well,
I'm not sure she does.
I mean, the leg kick is through the roof. Oh, Leah Crisp has just about done enough.
Wow.
Oh, hang on.
That's some kudos to a triathlon training, though.
Whew,
Wow.
16:46. So just outside PBs, about 10 seconds off. But race-wise, that was awesome.
Cracking race.
I was having little glimpses when we were talking about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
200.
so was I.
Thought, actually, this is quite a good race. We should probably be talking about it more. Emily Clark, 17:01. Oh, it's a shame she didn't go under that 16.
Under 17.
17, sorry. Yeah, interesting that they're all a little bit off their PBs because even Dan Jervis was. Yeah, even Dan Jervis was, even though he qualified or got under consideration. Yeah, I'm going to repeat myself. I just think it's the COVID effects. I really do. Some of these swimmers are struggling, but
I wish we didn't have to say it quite so much during this meet, but we have. It's a real shame.
It is a factor. Yeah,
we've made it through the 2 1500s.
I know we waffled on a fair amount.
Thank you for everyone who's stuck with us. They're out the way, which is a big deal for someone who used to swim a 50 and 100.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Well, there is another question. I want to ask a question to our listeners, actually, because trials are coming to an end. Obviously, we're going to do a review podcast next week. We want to know, or review. Yep. We want to know from the viewers what guests we should try and get on for the week after. Ideally, we want anyone who's swam at the trials to get a bit of an insight of how it was or how their swims were. Anyone, name your swimmers, and we'll try our best to get them on.
Don't go too high. I'm not sure we're getting PT just yet, but
I don't think we.
Give us some names. Give us some names.
I'm not sure we get Molly Renshaw or Duncan Scott, Jimmy Guy. I don't think we get those sort of names, but anyone sort of who's maybe just qualified, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be.
Give us a list. Whoever you think, write it down in the comments, and we'll try our best to get them on. So it'd be in 2 weeks' time now, wouldn't it? So, yeah.
Right. We are into 100 breaststroke, Dan. 100 breaststroke. We talked about it. Sarah Vasey laid down the marker, didn't she?
She did. I was actually quite impressed with her, but she does exactly what you said, and she always takes out every race, which really, in theory, is what you should be doing anyway.
I really like it.
She's obviously got a good recovery system or schedule that she has in place. She must do the race, go for a swim down, maybe do a foam rolling, something like that. So she will always recover. And I don't think she's ever really swam a bad time. She was always around the 67 mark at Manchester.
Yeah, she was. Manchester, I think the first meet she was 68. Yeah, and then next meet 67s, and then this meet I think she's on course for a 66.
Yeah, I agree with you. She's on the right track, basically. She's doing exactly what she should be doing. So hopefully next month we'll be on a 65, and then come Tokyo she should be on a 62, which then is a world record. Yeah.
Down a second a month. That's some improvement.
But
interesting. This event come Tokyo, is this Lily King's to lose?
Yeah, I would say so. Who else is there to sort of compete with her in the 100? I assume she enters
200. Everyone says she's not good at 200 long course. She's never really threatened the podium at the Olympics for 200.
No, she hasn't. No, we did a blackboard breakdown of her, didn't we? And she's more than dominant over 50 and 100, and then she still enters the 200, but doesn't really. I think she actually even makes the final, but doesn't get on the podium. I don't know if that changes this year. Maybe, don't know. But there's a bit of a high quality field in the 200 women's breaststroke.
100s, I think Alia Atkinson and Benedetto Pilato, even though she finished like second in Italian trials somehow.
Yeah, weirdly, she's not the fastest Italian right now.
She almost missed the team. I think she came level second.
Oh, that's right. She did.
Because she was pre-qualified, I believe, for the 100 breaststroke because of the world champs results or something like that. So it's going to be a fast one. I think it's one in a 104, which is a bit much of an ask for a British swimmer.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, if any PB from Sarah Vasey or Molly Renshaw, and it's a very good swim. Anything 66 is a very good swim. 65 is obviously world class, like world class. I don't think we'll see that. 66 is something they should be aiming for here, and they're in a good field of swimmers here. Imogen Clark
really good.
Be a real outside burner. She's even going to take it out fast, so it's going to look like she's going to be dominating from the top. Abby Wood is someone not to miss out as well. I didn't think
2-second PB.
I didn't think she could do 100, but obviously she can. Maybe she goes another PB. Because this is not her favorite event. I reckon she's completely relaxed, and now she's just going flow.
Bit
And
of fun.
usually someone who's completely relaxed and not really, I don't want to
Does
say
better.
caring, just like carefree kind of, just fully relaxed, and does better because the relaxed muscles are better and stronger muscles. So maybe that's why she did such a massive PB. She's just doing it for fun.
Potentially. Okay, so let's go through the starting lineup. In lane 1, we have Imogen Clark. In lane 2, Kyla van der Merwe. In lane 3, Cara Hanlon. In lane 4, Sarah Vasey. In lane 5, Molly Renshaw. That's a bad slip of the tongue.
What?
In lane 6, Abby Wood. In lane 7, Jocelyn Hewlett. And in lane 8, Katie Matz. It's a good field, Dan. I'm pretty sure everyone here might go under under 108. Is that a push?
I don't think so. I think everyone goes under. Well, no, under 108. Yeah, you're right. So they all go at least 17. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a very tough field. I circled this one as one of the big races to watch out for in our preview.
Preview.
Because you're right, there could be 4, 5 summers that could reach the wall first. Any little minor mistake and it costs you from first to fourth potentially. So you don't want to mess up in this race.
Yeah, I really think Imogen Clark has actually got a big chance here in lane 1. I really do. They are trained by. Oh God, the name is gone.
Who?
She's a former Olympian. They're trained by a former Olympian. I can't remember the name. Oh, that's going to annoy me.
I'll do some Googling or something. You've got a computer in front of you.
Yeah, okay.
Have a little look.
You have a chat to yourself.
No, I'll have a chat to myself. It's interesting that they use pink suits, or some of them use pink suits for the final. Maybe that's just to make them stand out a little bit more. I don't know. But Abby Wood always uses the pink suit for the final. So does Jocelyn, to be fair. I'd like to see Jocelyn go a little bit quicker. She definitely got these amazing times in the bank, especially in the 200 breaststroke. The former British record holder, of course. And she can not easily, she has done a 67.2 before, but just doesn't seem to be, it's not quite snapping for her at the moment. So it's not quite clicking. So I'm kind of hoping hopefully in the next year, in a lead up to Paris, that something does click right for her. Because that would be a phenomenal addition to the women's breaststroke on top of Molly Renshaw and Abby Wood.
Well, she was the previous record holder, wasn't she?
Yeah. I think that was done about 3 or 4 years ago now. But Sarah Vasey's taken out strong.
Molly Renshaw a lot further up on her shoulder than I expected her to be.
Yeah,
in fact, she's going past now.
I was actually expecting Imogen Clark to be a bit further ahead at this point. But actually, Molly Renshaw is looking very good. In fact, I'm going to say she's going to be winning this race now based on this, because of that 200 back-end speed that she normally has. She's so high out the water.
She is. Her stroke rate is a lot faster than this morning.
Yeah,
this morning there was a lot of gliding going on. I think she's up in her stroke rate now, and it seems like she's slipping a little bit of water. Sarah Vasey's gone past her.
Oh, Sarah Vasey's done it. Oh, 1.6. Good. 106.3.
Ooh.
PB. Molly Renshaw, 107, or the smallest of PBs, 0.01.
So they're both under the qualifying time.
Both
Brilliant
under
news.
Olympic consideration. Awesome. Oh, she's delighted, Sarah Vasey, and rightly so. I mean, to be fair,
they're all teammates, aren't they? And they were all part of the New York Breakers. I know she's going out with Max Litchfield. Yeah, that's a whole little family who are all off to Tokyo.
Yeah. Abby Wood's gone quicker as well. Oh my God. It's just Imogen Clark. Cara Hanlon's 108.0 PB by half a second. Yeah. That was a high class. That was a high class race.
Yeah, I thought the other girls might have been closer, but 106.3. That's a good PB.
Yeah, Katie Matz, unfortunately, 69. But either way, it was a good race experience for her, because you're not going to get much better in the country from those races.
No, not at all.
I'm glad for Sarah Vasey. The 5 days in the hotel has been worth it now. Another 2 names. Well, no, so another name added, because Molly's already going, of course.
Yeah, another spot filled.
We're running out of seats on this plane now.
Well, you said take everyone. Almost everyone's qualified, mate.
I know.
It's crazy.
They're all listening. Great. They're all listening.
I'm not sure they are.
No, that was swam perfectly, basically. She got right out there. And I was expecting Molly Renshaw to come through at the end. And actually, she held off quite nicely, Sarah Vasey. So she looks pretty happy, though.
Yeah. That's a good way for them all to end their meet.
Yeah, they're all going. Yeah, very good.
Brilliant news. Brilliant news. Right, moving on to the next event, the men's 200 meters backstroke. This should, in theory, be two names on the plane, two who are both already under consideration times, actually.
PB wise, yes, correct.
No. I mean, Brodie Williams has already qualified for the 200 IM and Luke's already pre-selected.
Oh, I thought you meant in terms of this event, because PB wise, they are both under that consideration. Yeah. But you're right. Luke Greenbank is already going to Tokyo. Brodie Williams already swam fast enough in the 400 IM. And I expect him, this is his favorite event, I would have thought. This is the one he's really concentrating on, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see a 155 here from him.
I was going to say, I circled him as a dark horse at the start of the meet to post a really, really fast time here and actually give Luke a really good run for his money. Now, I kind of wish he didn't take this morning so easy so that they would be next to each other. Yeah. But he took the 400 IM easy, and look how that one worked out. So he obviously knows what he's doing. In the second meet at Manchester, I was really looking forward to seeing what he did there. And then he slipped on the blocks, which was a massive shame, but he still went a 158, which would have placed him second fastest going into this final. So there's form there. There's really good form.
He's got enough in the tank to make this time. Absolutely. And he's been swimming. He swam really well over the two Manchester meets, gradually getting better, a bit like Sarah Vace, actually, gradually getting quicker and quicker every month. And I'm kind of expecting it. I'd be really disappointed if he doesn't go into this consideration time.
So would I. I would. He's part of a very successful household right now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's actually, the question I was asking our listeners. They are the three that I was going to try and target. So Kieran Bird, Brodie Williams, and Jacob Peters are all in the same house.
Yeah, they all live together.
Yeah, that would be a pretty interesting podcast, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure we could handle 3 swimmers at once. That might be quite hard for us.
It'd be a bloody nightmare. But Brodie Williams, he is next to Craig McNally, who has got the pedigree of going 155.6.
That was a very long time ago, though.
That was a long time ago. I'm not sure what Craig normally takes out relatively slowly on the first 100 and then brings it back quite strongly. But similar to Jocelyn Hewlett in the breaststroke, just hasn't quite been up to his best right now.
Yeah.
Elliot Clogg could be a dark horse.
He's looked good. He's looked good. Yeah. He looked good in the heats for the 100 and kind of disappointed in the final slightly. Yeah. So maybe he's more suited to swimming fast in the mornings. We will see. So if I go through the start list, in lane 1, we had Jonathan Adam. In lane 2, Cameron Brooker. In lane 3, Charlie Brown. In lane 4, Luke Greenbank. In lane 5, Elliot Clogg. In lane 6, Craig McNally. In lane 7, Brodie Williams. And in lane 8, James McFadden.
Yes.
High quality field.
It is a high quality field. Luke Greenbank, of course, is going to be a bit of a talking point here. His ankle is bad. It is bad. I mean, I'm so surprised he can actually move it based on what the colour is.
I saw in the comments, I believe it was last night, during last night's feed, people were kind of hoping he actually goes fairly slow this evening, because then it would prove that his 100 time was well off the boil. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It proves that ankle really has held him back.
Yeah.
At the same time, if he goes a 155, how much more is there in the tank?
His turns look pretty impressive. I would have thought, because the ankle obviously needs the flexion to do the kicks. Well, both types of kicks, dolphin kicks and backstroke kicks. And I really thought that would hinder him. I'm just shocked, unless he's got a bit of like pain relief going through or something. I don't know. But I'm so surprised that he's able to do what he's doing.
It's the end of the meet, and I think it was almost 2 weeks ago now. So maybe it's just the recovery stepped up a bit more. There's a bit more movement in there. But the most important thing for him now between trials and Tokyo is rehab in reality.
Yeah, which is the reason why I'm so surprised he's racing, because the last thing you want to do, what was it, a sprain? I think he sprained it.
Yeah, sprained it.
You just don't want to make that worse, because a sprain takes 3 weeks at least to recover, really, ideally, before it's like fully recovered, and then of course you've got to strengthen it again. So I'm honestly, he obviously wanted to race. Interesting.
Well, we saw it at the was it the para trials last week?
Yeah,
where Susanna Hex raced, even though that she was meant to be in a hospital. She raced at the para trials, and I think straight after her race, she broke the British record, by the way. If you didn't see that, she broke the British record and then spent a week more in hospital, which is just mind-blowing. So some of these swimmers, obviously, they just won a race.
Before the meet, I think she was advised to actually not even swim because she should be in hospital. She ended up swimming, I think, two of the 4 days. Or was it 5 days? I can't remember now. Ended up going a British record, and then the next day ended up going into hospital. And she was sort of messaging saying, "Yeah, sorry, I'm in the hospital.
I'm not starting this race."
Oh my god, what? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Oh god, it's insane. But
okay, so my eyes for this 200 back are going to be down at the bottom of the screen on lane 7. Brodie Williams is really checking that block before he puts his feet on it today.
Yeah. Well, if you want to watch a good backstroke start, check out Luke Greenbank. He's not
even with a bad ankle.
With a bad ankle, yeah, of course, yeah.
So what time? What time are we thinking here?
Oh, Luke Greenbank's time could be anywhere from 55 to 57, honestly, because I just don't know what his ankle's like. But Brodie Williams, I'm really expecting him to go Olympic consideration, which is 156.6. He's got a very nice backstroke.
I really hope he goes 55. Luke took it out hard this morning. Actually, so did Elliot Clogg, and that's what we're seeing now. Elliot Clogg's really going for it.
Yeah, Jonathan Adam actually took it out quite strong and paid for it badly at the end. But he's still doing the same tactic. He believes that's what suits him best, which is fine. It's obviously practices it in training.
On a 27 flat, Brodie Williams.
Yeah, no, he's looking good. He's doing exactly what he should be doing. He's more of a back end swimmer. He's obviously got the fitness to do a 400 IM, of course.
Yeah.
Luke Greenbank not quite turning up. Well, I don't know. You say that. I think it's just because Elliot Clogg has taken out.
A good back end.
Yeah. And the underwater work from Luke Greenbank would be obviously very good. Oh, have we cut out? No, we're not. We're okay.
Oh, hello.
Did we cut out? Oh, we're okay.
We cut out slightly.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
we're back.
We're back.
Anyway, Luke Greenbank has now stepped on the gas for this third 50.
Yeah, he has.
Obviously, the ankle isn't that bad, I assume. I have no idea. But Elliot Clogg is now basically trying to cling on to that second position.
He is. I think he might get there ahead of Brodie Williams. He's not coming through like I thought he would.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Brodie Williams is pretty good in this last 50 meters or so, but Elliot Clogg should now be feeling the pain.
Bad turn. Very bad turn from Elliot Clogg. I'm not quite sure what happened then, but his first dolphin leg kick was almost out of the water.
Yeah. Brodie Williams does not looking too sharp here, actually. All eyes on Luke Greenbank here. What time will he go?
Is this a 55?
5 meters to go. Not quite. 56. A high 56. Oh, Brodie Williams. That's really, I don't know what happened there.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
That is a very flat race.
I think Luke Greenbank expected a bit more of a better race as well, actually. I think he expected Elliot Clogg to go out hard because that's what he's been doing all meet, actually, and over the Manchester meets as well. So he's obviously done the right tactic of just bringing back that second 100. I don't know if that heat swim from Brodie Williams has actually hindered him because he was in the outside lane and he probably looked like he was doing pretty well based on the swimmers outside him. Should have gone a little bit quicker, so he was actually in with the race, if you like. But 158.76, that's it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's
a bit of a downer.
At least he's on the plane in the 400 IM. I expected a lot more. I really did. But that there's been the odd event like this. Actually, it was the same for the men's 100 back. It kind of disappointed slightly. In fact, there's been a DQ for Jonathan Adam.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I wonder what that was for, actually. What can you get DQ'd on backstroke for? Longer glide on your front when you turn, maybe. Don't know. I wonder if, because a big talking point was Luke's ankle, and I wonder if that was playing on the back of these swimmers'
Everyone's mind.
Because it's not just the men's 200 backstroke like now, it's also the 100. So interesting. I wonder if that was playing on their mind a bit. But that's really unfortunate. That's actually put a bit of a downer because I really thought Brodie could have done it. I really did.
It really is just as well. Luke's already on the team.
Yeah, well, I think if his ankle was better, I think he would have done similar times to what he did in the last Manchester meet.
Yeah.
But it just happened to be that slightly injured. He's not too happy about it. I think he's kind of accepted that. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. He'll be all right. But of course, for the 4x100 medley, we need a bit of a quicker backstroke leg, don't we?
He's not looking brilliant right now. Right. I might take a quick comfort break and leave you with Dan before the 50 freestyle. He'll run you through the start list and then we'll get into it and you can leave me to it.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So 50 meters freestyle coming up. Anna Hopkin, of course, is the one favourites, the one swimmer to look out for. We had PBs, though, coming from... Who do we have PBs coming from? Emma Russell with the smallest of PBs. Lucy Hope was just about on PB. Isabel Hindley was a very impressive swimmer. I think that she was in Heat 1 this morning. 25.6, just off her PB. And Erin Little with the smallest of PBs, 0.01. So if I run through the start list, we had lane 1 is Harriet Rogers. Lane 2, Emma Russell. Lane 3 is Lucy Hope, who's had a fantastic meet. Anna Hopkin takes up lane 4. Lane 5 is Isabella Hindley. Evelyn Davis takes up lane 6. Emily Barclay is in lane 7. And Erin Little is in lane 8. I just don't see this race going any other way. This is Anna Hopkin all over the place. Her first breakout stroke, like I was saying at the very beginning, was absolutely awesome. And I expect her to get that consideration time. 24.6. Her PB is 24.3. I think she could do it. I really could. It's just whether the other girls around her, I think she's like a good second ahead of everyone else, actually. But I think she'll be there. Just imagine if she had Freya Anderson's height, because Anna Hopkin is pretty small. I'd love to know how tall she is. She must be like 5'6" or 5'7", something along those lines. Probably even smaller, actually. But she's very powerful. The classic straight arm stroke. We're back. I was talking about Anna Hopkin.
Yes.
The straight arm stroke.
Diminutive figure. I can never say that word. But
I was trying to guess her height.
I'm not sure. I would thought she's kind of under 6 foot, but she swims big. She swims very big.
Yeah. Well, I said like in an earlier live stream, didn't I? That if you look tall in the water, then it just looks better. You swim better. Duncan Scott is another one. He just looks so long in the water that it makes you more propulsive through the water. But I was sort of saying that this is just a one-woman race.
It's against clock. It's a fast time. I was listening to the live feed this morning that the consideration time for this puts you 10th in the world, which, from my understanding, is the aim of British swimming is for the consideration times to make. If you go to Tokyo, you're making a final is the aim. Yeah. So it's a very tough time. I think there's a little bit of disrespect for 50s in British swimming. I don't know why, because anything can happen when it comes to Tokyo. Trying to hit a top 10 time in the world come April is a really big ask.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, push the swimmers on to do the best times that they could, but not so the time is like so far out of reach for the other swimmers. Of course, Ben Proud and Anna Hopkin are able to do the time, but then the second slot, if you like, is so far out of reach for everyone else, which is a big shame.
I'm not sure if I spoke to you about this concept I came up with the other night. If there's spaces left, because they've allocated 35 for the Olympics, I wish there was a secondary consideration time for 20 years and under, so that if there is a space, say there's 5 spaces open, and there's swimmers who, like Jacob Whittle, for example, let's put him out there. He's a 16-year-old with massive potential. You give him a separate, a little bit slower, not massively slower, qualification time to hit. Then he goes for experience, and you take that. You allocated the slot.
As long as the 2 positions haven't been filled. So if we go with the 53, for example, if Ben Proud and someone else both went under that consideration time, then I don't agree with that idea. But seeing as though we're only taking one, I
give that spot to a 20 and under consideration time. Maybe it's something for the future. Who knows? I know they're all about winning, and there's not much spare money. But if you're looking to give others a chance, then
well, that's what America do. I don't. Well, not at that exact thing, but they give people experience, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, Anna Hopkin not with the best start, or is it because Isabel Hindley actually did a fantastic start?
Well, actually, I think Isabel Hindley, amazingly, is doing the same path as Anna Hopkin is doing now. So she she's now gone to America and literally replaced her place.
Oh, not as quick as this morning, or was it 24.79? Or slightly, very slightly quicker.
Slightly quicker.
And actually outside the consideration, I thought she would make it.
Yeah. No, I kind of expected that.
I wasn't. I think there's room to improve there. The start wasn't quite as electric as it was this morning.
No.
I was saying the first breakout stroke put her straight into a rhythm and speed from the very get-go, and it just wasn't quite there today. But that's the risk of a 53. Any sort of minor mistake and you lose 0.1, 0.2, which of course over a 50 is absolutely massive.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a real shame. But she is qualified in the 100, and you'd hope
I think
swimming send her off to Europeans or to the Mare Nostrum, and she hits this time later on in the year.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that she makes it, whether it be Europeans or Mare Nostrum, or even though I don't think we're going to Mare Nostrum, that's what we're hearing.
Who knows? But
I think there's a Glasgow meet as well. So she's got 2 attempts, of which I'm sure, there'll be 2 attempts at each meet with heats and finals. Do
you know what? If there is another domestic meet, say, at Glasgow, like the Manchester Trials, it would be really interesting to see who races there. If you think about it, because the Manchester Trials was all people who think that they can get an Olympic time.
Yeah.
A fair few of those swimmers now will have been ruled out. Do we see even less swimmers competing, or do we see more people who have just got back into the swimming pool this past week?
If I'm these elite swimmers, I continue racing. Go with the sort of flow of, hey?
Even if you haven't got the time and both spots are filled?
Yeah, I'd go for it anyway. Yeah. Because go with the rhythm of you raced in the first Manchester meet, which was February, then March, then April, and continue every month up until the Olympics. That's what the Americans do. The Americans are racing all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
They don't qualify. Okay, yeah.
I was watching Cody Miller's video, and he's just done a race in Florida. He didn't do very well apparently, but there's so many mistakes. I think he went a 60 point for 100 breaststroke, which is obviously not great. So,
let's hope he keeps up that speed for the 4x100 relay.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, he's not going to be on the relay, is he? So,
I'm not sure America have a fast breaststroker. Right, shall we get into
the big one?
The big one.
The big one. Where do we begin? Well, should we go through the start list? Let's go through the start list first of all, shall we? And then we'll basically go through every swimmer.
Okay, if you go through it and say the heats times that they did as well, because it's important, because this is close.
Yeah. All right, so in lane 1, Cameron Curl, who went a 1:47.19. PB is 1:47.6 previously, so he went 0.5 quicker than he's ever gone. Lane 2, Callum Jarvis. He went 1:46.89. His PB is 1:46.5, so he's got a little bit more in the tank, theoretically. Matt Richards then takes up lane 3, 1:46.73, which I believe was of age group British record.
It was.
Which was previously held by... Was it Jimmy Guy? Oh, I thought it was Jimmy Guy.
Oh, it might have been.
I think it might have been Jimmy Guy. So that's a new PB for him, like I was saying. Duncan Scott takes up lane 4. 1:46.41 is the time he swam this morning. He's gone so quick. I can't remember when he did this. 1:44.91 is the time he's been before. I'd love to go that quick. Was that when he came third to Sun Yang? Oh, it might have been. Oh, yeah, the Worlds then. Yeah, it must have been the Worlds. Yeah. Tom Dean takes up lane 5, 1:46.68. He's gone a 1:46.0 before, so in theory again. I think that was Manchester as well. Jimmy Guy takes up lane 6, 1:46.77 this morning, and he's gone once before, 1:45.1, which is the time he won World Champs in 2015. Joe Litchfield in lane 7, 1:47.1, which was a 0.5 PB from... before. And then and Max Litchfield takes up lane 8, 1:47.93, and he has gone 1:47.4. So they're all on or have PB'd basically to make this final. Oh, they're all bouncing. I can tell from Max. He's bouncing. It's going to be fun. Right. So before we get started, me and Dan do have a wager on this. We said about it in our preview podcast. If you listened, we're going to do a 750s lactate test or tolerance set. And then whoever loses out of their second place prediction has to do 9, and we will video it and put it on YouTube. Oh God! Okay. I'm not sure I want to do that, but we'll do it. We'll do it. You can see how slow I am right now. Yeah. So
We both think Duncan Scott's going to win this. He's the class of the field. Dan said beforehand that a British record might be incoming, especially after he was so annoyed at the 100. And then our second place predictions, Dan went for Tom Dean. And this, bearing in mind, this was a good week ago now that we did these predictions.
Yeah.
And Tom Dean's been looking good. He, right now, as far as I'm aware, does not have a spot on the Olympic team.
No, I'm sure
consideration-wise.
I'm sure he'd be one of the... Wait, no.
Discussed about.
No, he's got Olympic consideration for this for 200.
Yeah, but he's not confirmed in any other event so far this meet.
Oh, no. So, in theory, this is his best shot. That's his favourite event. I went with Tom Dean to come second here, and you went with...
James Guy.
Yeah.
Because I picked second.
I went straight in Tom Dean. But of course, now, I was saying to you yesterday that Jamie Guy looks as though he might be on better form than Tom Dean. Listen, I mean, it's just going to be a fantastic race. I'm going to forget about that wager right now because honestly, this could be
the chat. Everyone who's watching in the chat, put your predictions for 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
I'd love to see what everyone else is saying.
We haven't even figured out who's going to come third. I might just go
third.
I might go Matt Richards.
I was going to say Matt Richards looked really good this morning. His last 50 is one of the best in the field until then I saw the splits of Duncan Scott's. But it was really good. On the other flip side, it did look like Jimmy Guy had a lot left in the tank.
He did. I'd say, honestly, if I'm going to put a slight down on it, I think Joe and Max might not go faster tonight. I think they were pretty much as fast as they could go.
Okay.
But then again, Joe is next to Jimmy Guy, who I believe will be taken out quite as tough. Matt Richards, like you said, is going to come back in that final 50 meters. I think Duncan Scott leads the way from the very get-go. And
I think Tom Dean leads the first 100 and then perfect pacemaker for Duncan. I really do. Tom Dean's been taken out hard so far.
He has. I think I'm just going to be watching Duncan Scott because I've got such high hopes. Such high hopes. This is a monster race. It's such a shame there were no crowd because the atmosphere would be mad. Absolutely mad.
We might be quite silent during this and we might be bouncing around afterwards. So I'm sorry if we don't keep up professional standards.
We haven't really been professional at all, have we?
It's been all right.
Like we said, we're fans first. We're fans of the sport first. Of course.
First prediction, Jimmy Guy to win.
Really?
Ooh, love that.
Wow.
Love that. Racer.
Here we go.
He is a racer.
Yeah. Well, as expected, it's Joe Litchfield first to 15, but then we should expect that swimmers in the middle to come through.
That's a dead level heat.
But Tom Dean's going out from the start.
Told you.
But which lane's Jimmy Guy in? I forget. Lane 6. So he's just going to follow. He's just going to follow Tom Dean.
Just going to watch Tom Dean.
The whole race. 23.9 they've gone out in. Oh my God. Duncan Scott's now seen Tom Dean and he's starting to step on the gas already.
You look at this and a British Champs final looks like an Olympic final.
Yeah.
Because it's so level.
Come on. Matt Richards got a bit of work to do, but he is looking across the pool,
morning.
So he'll be all right.
He did this morning. He sat on Jimmy Guy's hip until the last 50 and then stormed past him.
Oh my God, 50.2 they've just gone out in. This is extremely quick.
Duncan
Scott is absolutely flying.
Oh my God.
They can't live with him. Matt Richards starting to come through. Jimmy Guy is weirdly out of the picture here. But he is going to be looking across the pool on the way back. I don't know if that's going to be helping him.
He's rocking and rolling a little bit. It's between the middle four.
Yeah. In fact, actually, Jimmy Guy's gone. Oh, no, sorry. Who am I looking at? I'm looking at Joe Litchfield. Yeah.
Joe Litchfield.
But Duncan Scott looking like a monster here. Matt Richards should be coming back if he's going to stand true to what he's been doing all week. Tom Dean looking very good. In fact, is he catching up with Duncan Scott here? Was that just the camera angle?
That's the camera angle. Tom Dean's going to get second, though.
I don't know. Duncan's... It's getting a bit shorter. Oh! 144. What? Whoa. What a swim.
144.4.
Awesome. Oh, even Tom Dean. Wow. Well, you're doing 950s. Let's just put that out there first.
Oh, damn it.
Tom Dean's absolutely as he should be. What a swim that is. But turning
He's
in a
just gone like
50.2, wow. Do you remember Ian Thorpe always said, if you're going to do a world-class 200, you've got to go out in a 50 point. That's what they did, and they've just performed that. What a swim.
How good is that relay team now? It's got 244s.
Hang on a minute. Matt Richards has just gone 145. Holy cow. Oh, my God. Yeah, I thought the Litchfield brothers were pretty much out of their sort of depth a little bit.
Limit.
Yeah, I think they were. But
there's a relay team there, potentially, with Jimmy Guy as well. They're all under 146.
Yeah. Well, that's the fastest time Jimmy Guy's gone since that World Champs in 2015. So really, from him, that's a fantastic swim. Matt Richards has just blown everyone. He must be one of the fastest 18-year-olds in the country. Not the country, sorry, the world now.
Ever.
Yeah, must be.
I think, looking at that, Callum Jarvis.
I can't believe we've got
we've
got two swimmers that could go 144. 144. We've got two swimmers. My God.
144 low.
Jeez. Awesome. I mean, we've had Tom Dean on the podcast before, and we were bigging him up on the ISL meet, weren't we? When he beat Rapsis at the 400. That must be his best swim he's ever done. Full stop. That's an awesome swim. Duncan Scott was feeling it towards the end, but he put himself in the best position. Yeah. Oh, God, he's burning. Awesome, though. It's lived up to the hype. It's lived up to the hype.
I hope people realize how fast those times are. What on earth?
Wow.
They're all dead.
Well, there you go. Well, my top 5 has now changed, of course. That has to be at least first or second. That has to be. Because that's an awesome swim. Is that better than Karen Bird's 400?
Yes.
Oh, has to be, I suppose, doesn't it? Has to be.
That's a British record.
Yeah. God, it's not just a British record. It's a 0.5 British record. Jeez. I huge hopes for him. I really do. Duncan Scott, I think he wins. I think he wins Tokyo. Jeez. But Tom Dean wasn't too far away from him either. Whoa. How exciting.
Blimey.
The 4x2.
Matt Richards went sub 146.
Yeah. We've got some messages to send out, I think, here.
We do. That is just what a way to end trials.
Blimey. Well, there you go. Did anyone's predictions come in? What's the
No.
So
yours.
So Sarah said James Duncan and not about Shaw third. Yeah.
Wow.
Blimey.
Wow.
Well, like I said, I was pretty poor with predictions all the way through, but
when you got the last one.
When the big one, I was like, yeah, that counts. That just makes that erases all of my bad ones for the whole week. My God. No way. Can't believe we've just done that. There must be other countries now thinking, wow.
Well, nothing's come out of America for a very long time in 200 free. Russia didn't go that fast. Aussies aren't going that fast right now. My God. How are they doing an interview after that?
I don't know. I know that my legs would be shaky. I wouldn't be able to stand. I'd have to get me a chair or something. But yeah.
I wasn't
expecting that from Tom Dean. I know. I knew he'd get. Well, I say knew. I assume he'd get second, but I didn't think he could 144. That's a 1.5 second PB. What?
Well, he hadn't made the trials team yet.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Dear me. Jeez. Honestly, speechless. That's just so good. So good. We're going to win the 4x2 as well. Wow. We're going to win the 4x2 as well.
Dan's confident.
So I think PT wins gold. I think the 4x2 wins gold. I have a feeling Duncan Scott will win the 200 free. There's 3. Who else am I missing?
Molly Renshaw, Abby Wood.
Yeah, Molly Renshaw potentially, or one of those. Let's go with Molly for now because she was quicker today at the yesterday. 4x1 medley potentially, men's 4x1 medley. If we can get that backstroke time to go down, so there could be 5. When was the last time we won 5 golds? Long time ago. Beijing, we won 2 with Becky. We could be on for our best Olympics for a long, long time based off this. Anyone got any more Tokyo predictions for us? Because
Yeah,
I
that'd be
think
good.
we potentially could be getting 5 here. 5 gold medals would be awesome. Jeez.
Well. What do we do now?
we go back into another training cycle, get faster. That's what I say. Go back
No,
to work.
I meant for this kind of video.
Oh, I see.
I'm going to lost complete track here. Right.
I don't know.
So, before we kind of review the racing of the whole week, we've already picked out our favorite races, but we'll just do a quick rundown of who's on the Olympic team if Propulsion Swimming selected it. I know it's only consideration time, so technically they don't have to pick the swimmers, but it would be a joke if they don't. So we'll do that. But before we get into that, I think it's worth mentioning we really, really appreciate everyone who has come on and viewed our live stream over the past 5 evenings. We do this because we love it. We don't get paid to do this. We take a lot of time out of our days to put together research for this, and basically you guys coming and watching and interacting with us and telling us you want us to do it again. But that's why we do it. We really enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a small community right now, but sometimes we kind of prefer it small because we like the interaction going on, and we like the fact that we're swimming fans and we get other swimming fans. We talk about swimming, and we experience basically what we've just experienced, and we just love talking about swimming. We just love swimming. We tweeted it this morning, didn't we? We love swimming. So, but yeah,
mind-blowing stuff. Mind-blowing. Right. Before we go into the review, one negative of the whole meet. We've spoken about it beforehand. We didn't overly want to talk about it while the swimming's on. Why on earth is this not on BBC Sport?
I didn't really want to bring it up, quite frankly, but it's such a big negative.
Look at that race. That was huge. Is it just there's no atmosphere? They don't want to watch it? There's too much break in between? I think you barely noticed it at the end.
Well, honestly, that's why you've got Andy Jameson, and they brought Jazz Carling in, who did a fantastic job, by the way. Let's mention that because she really did. She
held it together at times.
She offered her expertise in the 800, especially, and the 400, of course. She did a fantastic job, and this sort of stuff should be shown on BBC Sport. I know there'll be an article later on. Nick Hope will sort one out, but it should be.
Why there's not live
BBC.
Swimming?
It should be.
I can't remember the last time there were Olympic trials and it wasn't on terrestrial television for swimming, even on the red button or even on BBC Sport website.
The only time swimming is on a telly is if it's Olympics, or I think ISL did the red button, didn't they? But again, that was only for London Raw meets. It should be on more. This is how you get more kids in the sport. Swimming is one of the most participated sports because, these kids, by the age of year 6, they should be able to do one length. That's part of the key stage curriculum.
Yeah.
But if they don't see it on the telly, they just think it's
Yeah. So being swimming YouTubers in apostrophes.
Yeah.
I love the kind of idea that this is just on YouTube. Part of me loves it, but then British Swimming have not gone full noise on promoting YouTube or even using YouTube as a massive platform. So if you are, I don't know, maybe they couldn't reach a deal with BBC Sport that they didn't want it, then you need to put a little bit more effort into this live stream kind of format on YouTube, because it's a massive place. And me and Dan, we obviously go into all the analytics, the way we put our videos up on YouTube. There's actually, believe it or not, there's almost a science behind it. And we have video analytics that show us what things we should be doing. And I can literally see the stream on my screen right now. And you get given a score out of 100 of how good for SEO searches, so search engine optimization, that the video's doing. You obviously want to aim for 100 every time. This British Swimming live feed is 5 out of 100. So it's a shame it's not on television. If you're putting it just on YouTube, do the research and get it out there a tiny bit more.
Well, listen, I've on the live stream now, I've paused it because I want to hear what Duncan has to say and Tom Dean has to say. But there was when I clicked on it, it's changed now. But it was 3,500 people watching. That number would be much higher if it was on BBC Sport.
Yes,
not just BBC Sport, BBC in general.
BBC.
I mean, it only took what, an hour and a half? I don't know. Normally
That's Antiques Roadshow. Get rid of Antiques Roadshow and put this on.
I don't know if Anti-Roadshow is on in the evening, but
You know what I mean. Surely there's
Yeah.
not much live sport that BBC even shows anymore. Why not put this on?
well, they show the athletics on BBC, and
don't get me started.
even the small meets, like
Mm.
I suppose I don't know how big Diamond League is, but I'm sure this swimming trial is bigger than Diamond League. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not
savvy.
Maybe,
with the
maybe the
athletics,
British Swimming, the CEO of British Swimming could let us know on the athletic side.
Yeah.
Let's not go into that. Okay, well, that's the negative side covered. Let's actually review the swimming. Because day one started with a massive, massive bang, didn't it? There were British records. There was a massive upset. We didn't expect Olympic consideration times to be hit in every single event that day. That kind of went under the radar.
I was kind of like half nervous that we peaked too early. Like we were on such a high after day one. Like you said, every event we got Olympic consideration. We kind of expected it from fair in a 200. We did not.
I was going to say, if we go through event by event, that 200 meters freestyle for the women to start with, I was slightly underwhelmed by the times. I think there's a lot more to come. Abby would hit a new PB. Can't question that too much. But Freya, I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more coming.
Oh, there's a lot more coming. And this is one of the predictions I actually got right. And I'm actually quite happy with the time that Freya did. As long as she went under the consideration time, which is exactly what she did. I said she would go a high 56, which is what she did. She did exactly what she needed to do. I was actually really impressed with Lucy Hope. She was good all meet. Yeah, she took the approach of taking it out strong for the first 100 meters and then basically hanging on. And it served her pretty well. 157.6 she ended up going, which is a very good time and a massive PB for her. Like you say, Abby Wood, who's been PBing every time she gets in the water for this 200 free, yet again PBs. Can't ask for much more. There is a lot more. I think there's more to come.
Yeah,
still,
and I think
3 months out.
I think all of the 200 meter swimmers who are on the cusp of that relay team, all of them are going to be sent to Europeans because right now they are not under the consideration time for a 4x200 meter relay. So British Swimming will want them to improve on their times this week so that they can justify selection for a 4x2 relay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a massive shame if they didn't go. I think I've said like 3 days in a row, like we should take a relay for every relay event, whether it's mixed, medley.
It's good experience for everything. And swimmers
yeah.
always swim best in relays, so you never know what results could come.
Yeah. I mean, that was ultimately my aim, to represent the country. And since though these swimmers would want to do exactly the same, give them the opportunity to do that. But yeah.
So if we move on, the next event of day one was the 400 meters freestyle. Is that still the best race of the meet from Kieran Bird?
I think not now. Not now. It has to be second. Because that 200 free was absolutely phenomenal. I didn't think they would go that far. I expected one of them to go 144, which was Duncan Scott. I think he would have broken a little bit of a record, but not by 0.5. And I didn't think he would drag Tom Dean to do it as well. So that has to be number one. The 400 free has to be number two for me, because Kieran Bird wasn't supposed to go that time. His PB before was a 351 and he's gone 346.0, especially when Dan Jervis was the one who was supposed to go that time, or Tom Dean actually. And he's just smashed out of the park. The last 100 meters of his, well, that will stick with him forever, I would have thought, because that was a monster last 150 meters or so. And he should be, rightly so, going on the plane to Tokyo, because he deserves it just off that swim.
And then the women's 400 individual medley, Amy Wilmot, that was a tough time to hit. I wasn't entirely sure she'd get there without the lack of competition, but she did.
Yeah, I mean, she raced at ISL because she was representing London Raw. I wouldn't say she looks amazing at ISL. And no signs were saying that she was going to go that time. And that's why we kind of didn't predict it, actually, did we? Yeah. We kind of thought in our heads that maybe she could if she pushed it. But I think it was a bit of an outside chance. And the fact that she did, with no real competition around her, I think Lily Booker came second and she was 7-8 seconds behind. So it's basically like 10 meters plus, So she did it by herself. And it was an honorable mention in my top 5, in my top 10 eventually.
In your races.
In my races. But I mean, all credit to her. very sensational swim.
Then the men's 100 meters breaststroke, we don't need to say too much. Adam Peaty, easily the best athlete in the world, not just swimmer. He needs more credit than he's given.
Yep.
Top 20 times of all time now, and that world record of his looks under threat. Maybe even the barrier of 56 looks under threat with his new start.
I mean, honestly, you said at the very beginning, we don't need to talk about this very much, but actually maybe we do. We need to big up Adam Peaty a little bit more.
Or maybe we do a podcast on the story of Adam Peaty.
That would be a good idea.
Why he doesn't get enough credit, or what credit he should get.
Yeah, because we said it before. If he was American, he'd be getting the same, if not more, credits and promotion than he does Caleb Dressel, because he's better than Caleb Dressel in his events and stroke. And not just better, he is by far better. I think you did a good comparison of Usain Bolt, who is, of course, the world record.
Well, Andy Jameson did it. Andy
Jameson. And I can't remember the exact figures now, but I think Usain Bolt's like a percent quicker than everyone else ever. Adam Peaty is 2.5% better, which is phenomenal.
What is it? Adam Peaty's 2.5%. If you put that on Usain Bolt's record, 2.5% behind him, there's 8 athletes. Yeah. So that's the comparison. Usain Bolt got all the credit in the world. Adam Peaty should be up there with the Usain Bolts of the world, if I'm perfectly honest.
Should be. He really should be.
Okay, moving through the events on day one that we saw, the women's 100-meter butterfly, this left you absolutely speechless with Harriet Jones sneaking under the consideration time and smashing her PB.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting her to do maybe the small PBs, because it was very similar to who was it? Like Abby Woods, where she kind of PBs every month. The first Manchester meet, the second Manchester meet, and this one she's PBing every time. The smallest of PBs, maybe 0.1, 0.2, but she's gone into this final and absolutely smashed it by 0.6. Not just a PB, but to get under that consideration time, which was, I still don't really have words for it. It's just amazing. I know she's roommates. She's roommates with Chloe Tusson, who of course I was training with at Cardiff as well. And of course, Chloe went to Rio for the 200 breaststroke, and now Harriet was celebrating Chloe's success back then, and now it's the opposite way around this year.
I was going to say, there's a bit of tradition at Cardiff, isn't there, as Olympians, and they've done it again.
Yeah.
And then to finish off day one, we had the men's 200 meters individual medley, the first double qualification. Oh no, second qualification.
Yeah.
But it saw Joe Litchfield get the qualification or his consideration time on day one, get that out the way because he had a lot of races this meet. And then Duncan Scott absolutely obliterated the British record and set the fastest time in the world, which would have won world championship golds. Here's another gold you didn't consider, Dan.
No, I did. Did I? I can't remember if I did now.
You didn't. Not in your 5.
Will he win gold at Tokyo for that? That would be interesting. There's a lot of good
massive home crowd for Sato and Hagino, which is the only thing.
That's if Tokyo happens, of course, which I think it will do now. I think it will do now.
We don't need that. We don't need that negativity on here.
You would want to bring up negative everything. So yes, I think it's kind of that 200 times kind of gone under the radar for me since that 200 free. We need a good reminder, because 155.9 is not shabby. Like you say, would have won gold at 2009 Worlds, so it's got every chance of winning gold again at Tokyo. So,
okay, quickly moving on. Day 2, the distance events disappointed slightly. Dan Jervis and Kira Bird got the closest to the consideration time. They both qualified elsewhere, so there might be the option that they do get selected for this event. Only time will tell, and that's up to Bill Finesse.
Yep.
The 200 meter butterfly on the guy's side, Jimmy Guy took it out like a lunatic and just held on to get the consideration time. But it's also worth mentioning Jay Lelliott behind him, massive personal best. And we spoke to him after that swim, and he thinks there's more in the tank.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised by that, because it's the two very different tactics. Jay Lelliott is one that sort of builds through the race, whereas Jimmy Guy did the crazy amount of tactic of going out hard on a 200 fly.
Yeah.
And he suffered towards the end, but at least he put himself in the best position to get under that time, and he did it. 0.25 underneath the consideration time. And if Jay Lelliott's got more in the tank, then blimey, I'd love to see that.
155 may not threaten come Tokyo. Who knows? We know the 200 butterfly is not an event he really targets. He just has that amazing natural ability that allows him to race it. He's got some lungs on him.
Oh yeah, well that comes from because he used to be a 400-meter freestyler, so he's kind of like transitioned that to half the distance, but for a harder stroke. So it's kind of
for a different stroke.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we had the women's 100 meters backstroke. Now this is an event which might stay open for Olympic selection because there were 3 girls who went under the Olympic consideration time: Kathleen Dawson, Cassie Wild, Georgia Davis.
Yep.
If it stays open, I understand why. But I think Kathleen Dawson should definitely be picked, and then maybe the other 2 keep fighting it out until the latest date of selection, which is June.
The start of June, which is Mare Nostrum. But if they're not racing Mare Nostrum, then it's the Glasgow meet, which is I want to say the end of May. I think it is.
So there's Europeans and then Glasgow, which maybe you just send Georgia Davies and Cassie Wild and say battle it out. Whoever wins. Maybe this is one of 3. Whoever wins.
Yeah, potentially.
The next one's take it.
But this can only help Cassie Wild, surely, with the youth on her side. I would have thought. Because Georgia is more suited to the 50. I honestly think she's in the top 10 for the fastest women 50-meter backstrokes ever. So she's obviously very good at the 50. And I think Cassie just has that youth on her side. I mean, she was half a second quicker than Georgia this meet. And I just think that will be the same for the next meets. But I can understand why they would keep it open.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Bill does here.
Yeah.
Then the men's 100 meters backstroke. This one disappointed slightly. No guys went under the consideration time. Luke Greenbank obviously suffering with a big injury. Joe Litchfield, he's selected for the 200 IM. I think he is slightly in pole position for the medley relay, but I'd expect British Swimming to ask those 2 guys to keep racing 100 backs so that they know who is going to lead off that medley relay team.
Yeah, I would say this is actually more of a reason to keep this race open than the women's 100 backstroke, because obviously we've spoken about it. Luke Greenbank has got a dodgy ankle, so he could never have performed at his best anyway. Joe Litchfield done a lot of races, so he would have been fatigued. Who goes in favourite? I mean, they pretty much did the same time, let's face it. Joe Litchfield's got they've both got fantastic underwaters. Luke Greenbank is probably the faster of the 2 swim speed wise. Difficult one. We'll have to see. I expect them to be racing at Europeans or Glasgow or both, actually.
And see what happens.
And just see what happens. Yeah, keep that one open, I would have thought.
And then we finished day 2 with actually what I think is quietly one of the best races of the meet, because Molly Renshaw obliterated the British record. She went a 2:20.89, which is stunning. And then Abby Wood went under it as well. This is a prediction I had in our preview podcast, which I'm very glad came through. I thought this was coming.
It's nice when predictions come true.
It is nice. I didn't think it would come by this amount, but I did think both girls went under the existing British record.
Yeah, I mean, Abby Wood, let's start with Abby Wood. I mean, I can't remember a swimmer who's been good at 200 free, 200 IM, 200 breaststroke. They're such different events. So she's extremely versatile. And then Molly Renshaw, of course, she's world class. Does she go in as favourite for the 200 breaststroke at Tokyo? Maybe not quite, but I think she's definitely in. She's definitely in with a podium chance. Absolutely.
I think both these girls are in with a chance at a podium. I really do.
Yep.
Okay, day 3, we kicked off with the men's 400 meters individual medley. Now, this one was a tiny bit shock to his system. I thought Max Litchfield would go a lot faster, but he still got Olympic consideration time. I didn't think Brodie Williams would go 4:12, and he got the Olympic consideration time. It was both spectrums.
I remember giving the preview at the very beginning, and I said Brodie Williams has an outside chance of getting it. And I said outside quite lightly, sorry. But in the end, he actually went under by half a second, which is a pretty decent chunk, actually. And I was actually, do I want to say disappointed? I don't know. It's such a strong word, disappointed. But actually, I was expecting Max Litchfield to be close to his PB.
Yeah, I think Max said he felt that a quicker time was in the tank.
Yeah.
But we were saying beforehand, if he gets anywhere near his PB, there is the outside chance, because the 400 IM right now looks like a slightly weaker field on paper than most Olympics beforehand.
Yep.
There is the outside chance that he could be a threat in that final.
Maybe. I mean, I can't think of anyone other than Hagino. Like I said, Lockheed's not going to be doing it. Laszlo Che's not going to be doing it. There just has to be some young gun out there somewhere who could be causing a threat. But yeah, Max Litchfield has got a very good chance. If he can swim a 4.7, I reckon, at Tokyo. So it goes
That's punchy.
maybe.
That's a 2-second PB. That's punchy.
Yeah, I don't know, a second and a half, something like that quicker.
Okay.
He's got a good chance of getting on the podium. But Brodie Williams is going to be using that as a fantastic learning curve, I would have thought, because that's a fantastic swim from him.
And then women's 200 meters butterfly, we had another Olympic consideration time hit. This time, Alice Thomas. She qualified for her first ever Olympics at the age of 30. Now, that's an example of not to give up.
Yeah, well, that's just a fantastic example. I mean, she's won Commonwealth. She won the Commonwealth Games in 2018, and believe it or not, never been to the Olympics, and now 30. So
I think it's worth mentioning
goes to her.
Laura Stevens in this event was slightly disappointing. I think in the 100 and 200 fly, we expected slightly more from her. I think the hope is she just had a bad meet, and come Europeans or Glasgow, she might sneak under the times, because there are 2 spots still technically open in both of those butterfly events.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of happy with 100, actually, to be honest with you.
She still PB'd, didn't she?
Yeah, but the 200s, I put her at quite a high standard. I really did think that she was going to go under the consideration, not by a little bit, by like a chunk, like a second. And the fact that she actually went a second over it, that was quite disappointing. And I'm just going to put it down to, it's just one of those things, unfortunately. But actually going off second place, Kiana McKeans, that was a good swim from her. A good definitely. PB. And I mean, Alice Thomas, can't say enough about it. Massive credit to her. I didn't think she was going to do it, and she's proved everyone wrong there. And as a great example, good role model for everyone out there, all the youngsters.
Definitely. And then we had the men's 100 meters freestyle, which turned out to be the race of day 3. Duncan Scott equaling his British record with a 47.78 and being disappointed, would you believe? And Matt Richards securing his Olympic spot at the age of 18. Stunning swimming.
Honestly, I mean, British sprinting for the men's side is in a very good spot. I knew Matt Richards was going to go well, but I didn't think he was going to go that well.
I thought that Olympic consideration time was too hard for him to get near. Beforehand, I think he was a 0.5 off it or something like that, and he's managed to go under a 48.3. That's some good going.
Well, he seems to have adopted the classic Australian tactic of, I wouldn't say slow for the first 50, easy speed on the first 50, and then bringing it home like a train on the final 50. He did it again for the 200, and it's working for him. Obviously, whatever he's doing at Bath, carry on doing that, because he's on track, hopefully, come Tokyo, to go 47 point for an 18-year-old, or he might be 19 by then, is fantastic. I mean, Paris is looking
No, I think he's 18 come the Olympics. Would you believe? His birthday's in December.
Yeah.
Something like that is crazy. Then we had the women's 400 meters freestyle. This one was a little bit disappointing, with Holly Hibbert not having anyone to race at all. She gave absolutely everything, but just missed the Olympic consideration time. It was a really tough ask for her. Maybe you see her race it at Europeans with a bit more competition, and she gets that time. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'm going to bring it up one more time, and I'm never going to say it again. I think COVID is a big issue with this distance.
For the distance,
swimming. Of course, the 1500 comes later on. It's such a challenging time for these distance swimmers. They need to be in the water to do these lengths. It's all right for the sprinters, because you can kind of do the gym work outside and do bits and pieces in the water. You can kind of half get away with it. But for these distance swimmers, you can't, and it's clearly shown on these trials.
It has. We'll review it we'll break it down properly in our review podcast, which will come out towards the end of next week. But I think the serious outcome from these trials is distance swimming has suffered over the past year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But they've got a couple of months to try and fix it. So let's see if what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. And then we finished day 3 with the men's 200 meters breaststroke. This race very much felt kind of like just job done. James Wilby, Ross Murdoch under the consideration time. They both can go much faster. They both should be in the final come Tokyo. Realistically, it's whether they can challenge the podium or not.
Well, I was sort of saying in our little chats before in the 1500s that any sort of a minor detail that they do could be the difference between getting a bronze, let's say, or coming sixth, for example. So they've got to put it right. They know what they're doing stroke count wise. They know they have exactly the same tactic of building throughout the race and increasing their stroke tempo for the last 100 meters. You're right. I was actually expecting them to go a little bit quicker than that, to be honest with you, about a second quicker.
Just felt job done. There we go.
But they got under the consideration time, which was priority number one. So, yeah, job done. You're right.
Then day 4 kicked it off with the women's 100 meters freestyle. Another 2 Olympic qualifying times hit for Freya Anderson and Anna Hopkin. Both, it's really hard to separate them on paper. In the pool, very much exactly the same times. In person, they are very different swimmers.
Heights. Very different heights.
It's weird. It's weird how similar they are, but how different they are. But there you go. That shows that swimmers can be all shapes and sizes. You don't just have to be Freya Anderson 6'3".
So you don't have to. Well, you can be 6'3". You can be Anna Hopkins. We're guessing at 5'7". I don't know. That's a guess.
my height.
Yeah, your height. Well, you're 5'3". Anyway, there's different techniques. Anna Hopkins got the straight arm front core. Freya Anderson's got the classic sort of 200-meter sort of style of relaxed arm, high elbow recovery, and yet they're the same time. So it's an interesting one.
Both under the consideration time. Unfortunately, I find it quite hard to see them challenging at Tokyo, given the strength of women's 100 meters freestyle. When you think of Sjostrom, Manuel, the Campbell sisters out in Australia, it's a strong field. This one's a big race come the Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're doing well to make the final. Actually, I kind of half predict, hopefully, that they'll both be around the 6th, 7th mark in the final. That's quite an achievement, actually, because Australian sprinting on the women's side and the men's, I suppose, is in very good shape. And of course, Simone Manuel, is going to turn up in shape as well. Sjostrom, that's all up in the air at the moment because she's broken her elbow. Although she's obviously recovered from it, I would have thought by now. So
she'll be fine.
I would have thought she'll still knock out a good time and get a podium. But it's a tough one to medal in. But as long as they make the final, they give themselves a chance, obviously. So
yeah. Then the men's 50 meters freestyle. For me personally, I'm very biased on this, but this was one of the most impressive races of the meet. To go 21.4 in April, laid down the second fastest time in the world. Ben Prow's back. He is back with a bang, and trust me, he is a massive medal threat come Tokyo in this.
Well, I mean, 50 meters is, you don't want to put any foot wrong, and it just seems like Ben Proud has been doing it time and time again with James Gibson, of perfecting the smallest of details. His start is now right up there with Caleb Dressel. I'd love to see them go head to head and lane by lane to see who.
I'd like to see him next to Joe Litchfield, actually, and see what the two of them look like next to each other.
So would I. But of course, Ben Proud is so much bigger, so much stronger. So he probably is a little bit stronger than Joe Litchfield on the turns. But of course, then Ben can't do it at the end of a 200 like Joe can. So
very different swimmers. I was just thinking, give them a race to 15 and see what happens. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So then we had the women's 200 meters backstroke. I thought this consideration time was going to be too much of an ask. Nope. We had another Olympic qualifier in Kathleen Dawson. She carried on her amazing form, and she really is actually the best backstroker in British swimming come the women's side.
Yeah, I was actually quietly confident that she was going to make the consideration time. This is where we kind of disagreed a little bit. Yeah. A little bit quietly confident that Cassie Wild, I didn't think she was going to get close to the time. But I was hoping for a 2:09, something like that. But still a very good swim. I believe it was a PB as well, actually, from Cassie Wild.
It was a massive, PB's all right.
She swam very well all meet. Both Kathleen Dawson and Cassie Wild richly deserve their place on the consideration list for Tokyo. And I just think there's more in the tank from Kathleen Dawson. I really do. I think she could be a real threat, especially for the 100. Maybe not for the 200.
Yeah, 200's a very fast event.
Because Reagan Smith is in a different dimension on the 200 backstroke right now. But 100 backstroke is all up for grabs. I mean, it's a shorter distance, so, got every chance of getting a medal. Yeah.
Then we had the men's 100 meters butterfly. Jimmy going not quite at his imperious best, but very comfortably under the Olympic consideration time. And he dragged Jacob Peters along to his first Olympics. Hopefully his first Olympics.
Should be.
With a big PB and a 51.65. It was good to see two swimmers get under the consideration time for this event.
Yeah, this is where one of my predictions that I got wildly wrong, because I thought Jimmy Guy could have gone a 50 point. I really could have. I really thought he could have.
You thought British record was coming, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was actually a bit of a downer on that one, but I can't fault him. He went under the consideration time, as did Jacob Peters, which should be the biggest talking point here. It's his first, or should be his first Olympic Games, and hopefully more to come from him, because I think he's got a fantastic stroke. Looks really effortless over the water. Really looking forward to him racing, and he could be pushing Jimmy Guy's position for that 4x100 medley. You never know.
Who knows? Who knows? Keep racing. And then we finished day 4 with another 2 qualifiers, Abby Wood and Alicia Wilson, both setting, what was it? Abby Woods was the 2nd fastest time in the world. Alicia Wilson's was the 5th fastest time in the world. Really, really impressive stuff from both of them.
Geez, I mean, where do you begin with this one? This could be potentially a 1-2. You never know at Tokyo, because these girls are getting quicker and quicker. I mean, some people haven't ever seen Alicia Wilson because she's out in the States. She raced
She's at Cal.
She's at Cal, yeah. She's racing at NCAAs.
I was going to say, if anyone doesn't know, California University, that's Ryan Murphy. That's a top class American university. She's not there as the token swimmer.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get much better than that. God, it doesn't get much better than that. So she's obviously, I think she did a 2-second PB to get that 2:09. Did we expect more from Abby Wood? Maybe potentially in that 200 iron, but she's done a lot of races already. I don't know if she the 200 breaststroke was her sort of peak.
She still PB'd. She's still PB'd.
She's still PB'd, yeah.
That's the stunning thing. The form that she has right now, the fact that she's still PB'd, and we thought, I thought she'd go faster.
Yeah.
It's stunning. She's that good right now. I think there's more to come Tokyo.
Oh, definitely.
So that's the 4 days before today. Now, Dan, I've just done some maths.
Oh, crikey.
Okay. So out of those 4 days, guess how many events missed a Olympic consideration time?
Oh, God. Well, I'm not going to count through them again. How many events missed? Well, the distance ones missed. So I'm going to say, there's not many. It's like 4.
Exactly. It's 4.
Oh, that's a good guess.
The first 4 days of racing, only 4 events at the Olympics are unlikely to see a British swimmer. Now, from today was a little bit more because of the 1500s. So we missed it in the women's 1500. We missed it in the men's 200 back, but Luke Greenbank's already going, so I won't count that. Yeah. And then we missed it in the women's 50 freestyle. So we've only missed it in 6 events. Out of the whole Olympic program, we've only missed 6. That's big for British swimming.
It is. And actually, I do expect Anna Hopkin to put that right in the next couple of weeks or months.
So 5.
So really 5.
And then the 100 back, Luke Greenbank might do that as well. If that is a huge step for British swimming, I think more so than a medal haul come Tokyo. I think that's more important, having that depth of potentially filling 35 spots that were allocated.
Well, we took 26 to Rio, which is massive improvement. I know the CEO of British Swimming was on, I think he was on day 2, if I remember right, and he was talking about as long as we improve our medal haul from Rio, of which he didn't know the answer, which really wasn't good. But you're right. I think the more exposure British Swimming can get, of course, the Tokyo Olympics will be on BBC or will be on highlights, I would have thought.
Yes.
And then more youngsters can watch these swimmers and actually get more kids into the sport of swimming, which is really, ideally, that's the aim that we want to do, of course, and what the sport of swimming should be doing anyway.
Yeah. So I think as a whole, we can sum up and say that these were one of the most successful British trials we have ever seen, especially given the challenges that all of these swimmers have had over the past 12 months.
Yeah,
I'm blown away. I am really blown away.
Yeah, and I said that the Tokyo predictions, we could be winning 5 gold medals. And when was the last time we won 5? A long time ago, maybe even ever. I can't even remember.
We'll do a big preview podcast before the Olympics come around. We'll get up to date on that medal haul. We'll put it out there. We'll put our neck on the line. But I think it's almost time to start concluding our coverage of British swimming Olympic trials. We've loved kind of live reacting with you all at home. I hope you've really enjoyed it and you're going to join us for future meets. We're going to assess what the schedule is for the European Championships and for Glasgow. Hopefully we can do the same sort of format for that. If we can't, we'll obviously let you know. We have jobs, so we're not entirely flexible.
Yep.
But yeah, I've loved it. I did this through my birthday. That's how much I enjoyed this.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Yeah, that was even a Friday as well. Oh, what a good birthday that was.
The Friday night when it was sunny outside, the pubs were open for the first time. I was watching swimming with everyone here.
That's called commitment, everyone. That is commitment. But no, it's been really good, actually. It has been really good. Like we say, we'd only be watching it on telly anyway and just basically giving our thoughts to each other anyway. So we'll just give our thoughts to everyone else. And thank you very much for everyone giving your thoughts as well. We've very much enjoyed it, building a little community, which is always great to see.
So what we'll be doing over the next week is we'll do a formal breakdown. We'll do a whole podcast for everyone who wants to listen on the Propulsion Swimming podcast. That podcast is actually going really strong. We're always there or thereabouts at the #1 British swimming charts. We love everyone who's listening for that. We get so many comments. It's great.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what sort of guests we can get on after these trials. We'll target the likes of, I don't know, Brodie Williams, Kieran Bird. We'll have a chat and we'll see who we can get on in the next coming weeks. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Kieran Bird would be good, or Jacob Peters. They would be my one and two to try and get on. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll send us a couple of messages. We've got to send a message to Tom Dean and Matt Richards now. Fantastic meet overall, and the Summers should be extremely proud of what they've done, along with the coaches. The coaches obviously put the work in behind the scenes.
Yes.
British swimming is in a very good place right now.
Very, very good place. What a great place. What a great way to leave this live stream. Well, thank you so much for everyone who's joined us. I've been Scott. He's been Dan, and we will hopefully see you all again very soon.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone.